Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. As always, I am so excited to be doing another pick a card reading for you today. I wanted to start by welcoming you here to this space, and I'm thanking you so much for joining me today. I know that there's so many people that you could have chosen to watch videos from, and you picked this channel, and I'm so grateful to have you here, so thank you so much. For today's particular video, we are jumping into the perfect career for you based off of your life purpose. Now, I say that separately because I make sure to separate the two, because oftentimes I think people confuse your life purpose for your career. And I've always believed that we weren't necessarily placed on this earth to work. Certainly we have to work to maintain our lifestyles, to maintain our lives. So I always find that career and purpose are very much two separate things. What we're diving into today is what the baseline of your life purpose is, and a career that will complement that particular purpose. I will be doing another pick a card reading that is all about your life purpose and your life path. But this one, I am integrating a little bit of both in order to get you a career that not only provides for you materially, but one that also stimulates you mentally and provides material and emotional abundance, okay? Because you are working in conjunction with your life path, with your particular purpose, okay? So I've got 4 piles for you to choose from. As always, these readings are not gender specific, and they are general readings, which means that they're not going to resonate with everybody. If you would like a personal reading regarding your life purpose or your a career that would be good for you, then please feel free to visit my website at wokewitchtarot.com, or you can always feel free to reach out to me via social media. My social media handles are listed up above. All right, 4 piles to choose from today. I'd like for you to take a moment to breathe, to ask the universe what career would be best for you based off of your life purpose, based off of your life path. And then pick whichever pentacle really resonates with you. This is Pentacle 1, Pentacle 2, Pentacle 3, and Pentacle 4. Please feel free to pause the video if you need to. And then whenever you are ready, you can either fast forward to the times that I've listed here for your particular pentacle, or you can go to the pinned comment down below or in the description to click on an actual clickable time on when your particular pentacle starts. Again, Pentacle 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, I will see you on the other side for whichever pentacle you picked. Alrighty, if you picked pentacle number 1, then this is the reading for you on the perfect career for you that would work in conjunction with your particular life purpose, with your life path. You've picked the charm of the 1971 peso, Mexican currency here. You could be from Mexico. You could be in Mexico right now, but certainly you don't have to be. I won't be focusing too much on trying to channel anything from the charms in this particular reading. I'd like to jump straight into your piles. As you know, if you've been on this channel before, I only take jumpers and flippers, so I always ask that you be patient with me in the shuffle, particularly for some of the more finicky decks that I will be using today, okay? For pile number 1, in regards to life purpose, please. One more card, please. Life purpose for pile number 1. For pile number 1, please. In regards to life purpose, one more card, please. For pile number 1, please. One more card. Alrighty. At the bottom of the deck, you've pulled the card of Come to the Edge. This is card number 36. And I love that this card breaks down to a 9. If you're familiar with the tarot, typically the 9s, like the 9 of Wands, for example, the 9 of Swords, right? These are cards where you are on the brink of something. You are so close to the ending of something. When you're stressed out with that 9 of Swords, you move to the 10 of Swords, which is the place where you know, okay, this is the worst part, and then it's over, right? I love that because this card, this idea of coming to the edge, means that you are on the edge. You are on the edge of a personal breakthrough in regards to your purpose. You are on the edge in regards to this knowing about what this purpose is. But most importantly, you have been created. It is your birthright to live on this edge. Now, that doesn't mean that you are Spider-Man or Spider-Woman, okay? It doesn't mean to go hang off the side of a building. What it means is that you were meant to live a life of boldness. There's something about you specifically, perhaps your previous life experiences, where you have been molded in a way to take risks that most people are too afraid to take. If we all took risks, we would all be the Jeff Bezos of the world. What Jeff Bezos does, regardless of how you feel about him personally or his wealth, okay, what he has done is not particularly magical, right? This idea of buying things online. The difference between Jeff Bezos and somebody else, you perhaps, right, is that he did it. He did it, pedal to the metal. He went out and made it happen. Now, that doesn't mean that he's better than you or anything like that, right? What I'm trying to say is that when you get the courage to meet this edge, your life will flourish. You might find through your previous life experiences that you've had a little bit of a tougher life. Most of the people that pick this pile will look back on their childhood, on their upbringing, on their relationships, and might feel a bit disconnected. Might feel like perhaps they've always had a tough hand dealt to them. And there's a reason for that, and I want you to know that now. There is a reason that you have always been put in the fire, because you had to be forged in that fire in order to be bold enough to come to this edge in the future. All of those past experiences, all of those pains, all of those hurts were practice for this beautiful endeavor that you are about to embark on, that most people are too afraid to do because dancing this close to the edge is scary. I hate to phrase it this way, but I'm getting it very strongly. It's almost like these experiences were meant to numb you in some capacity. If I snap my hand with a rubber band several times a day, eventually the skin here will get tough. And although it will be perhaps painful or uncomfortable for a bit, eventually it won't hurt as bad, right? This idea of snapping a rubber band against my wrist, I'll almost be used to it. And the universe has been snapping a rubber band against your wrist for quite some time because it's practice. And you know what they say, practice makes perfect, and the universe has been making you perfect, and it has been forging you this courage within you. As they often say, passion, may your courage rise to the level of your passion. When is that moment for you? Okay, so you are meant to do something that is on the edge. It's bold, it's different. You're not meant to live in the mundane. There's nothing wrong with the mundane, but that is not the path for you. There is something quite special about you, okay? You were meant to dance on the edge. And I love that this is framed as an invitation. It's like a whisper, come to the edge. Right? Perhaps that's an affirmation that you can write for yourself. A little note card that you put on your dashboard or on your mirror, so that every morning you see something that says go to the edge. A reminder that you were meant to be bold, no matter how scary, right? Now, obviously I say that with the understanding that you're not going to purposely put yourself in dangerous situations. This is more about taking risks in your life. You've got a couple of really, really beautiful cards here. The first is co-create. This is certainly a card that I see quite often with my creators. You are a creator. I see the Empress here quite strongly. I also see the Queen of Wands here quite strongly. This idea of, the King of Wands. You could be a Libran, a Tauran, or a fire sign. You don't have to be. This idea, again, that you're meant to live on the edge. Look at where this owl sits. He's on the wire, right? And you and an unlikely partner are meant to work together in order to hatch this beautiful egg, a mixture of both of your talents here. Okay, now this doesn't have to mean that you will work with a partner. It certainly can. This partner, especially the owl, right, could certainly be the universe, and that could be the thing that is whispering to you. Somebody that was meant to be this ferocious animal that now sits on concrete like a statue, not moving. And perhaps this owls often represent wisdom, like the high priestess, right? Perhaps that is the thing that is whispering to you, come to the edge, right? When you go to the edge, when you trust, when you meet your intuition, when you meet that whisper, you will both, you and the universe, or you and your soul tribe, if this is an actual person, right? You will co-create something beautiful in the world. Certainly, this could allude to motherhood specifically. That could be why I got the Empress in my head so strongly. But I see this in a creative sense as well, okay? This idea that you were meant to build something together. I also see community here. This idea that perhaps you were meant to work within your community in some capacity. At the center of your spread, we have the card of deep knowing. Another owl showing up here for you. Owls could have some significance to you, or you could consider an owl a sign, perhaps, right? If you hear that hoo of the owl, if you see an owl on TV, if you see a picture of an owl, make a note of what is around you, of what is happening, of the conversation that you just had, because there could be a whisper there with this sign of the owl. Two of them in the same row is a bit... it's a bit unusual, okay? You have a deep knowing. Now, I'm not surprised, pile number one, because of the fact that you have been forged in this fire. I see this card in a couple of different ways. First, I see that you are quite intuitive, and people that have had hard lives, they tend to be people that are empaths, people that were molded in a way to be able to understand energy, to understand what is going on in a person with just a glance. You can see what's happening underneath the surface. You also, please pardon the train that is passing by. I don't want to break the flow of your reading, so I'm going to keep going, okay? It'll be done in just a moment here. You also, because of your experiences, you have an empathy with people. Even if you don't know the particulars of a situation, you can sense energy, and you can almost send it back, send an empathetic energy back to somebody that is experiencing that, okay? Clearly in touch with the intuition here, in touch with that whisper telling you to come to the edge. And I love this nod of the moon of intuition here, being the owl being perched on it. In other words, it's almost like the owl communicates what's on the moon's mind. And as I had mentioned here, this owl could be the thing, the intuition, right? Your soul calling to you, saying, come to the edge. I love the deep knowing reference here, because I bet you, pile number one, that you know that there's something different about you. You know that there's something special about you. Funny enough, when I said you know that there's something different or special about you, I got an image of Neo in the Matrix. Perhaps you've always known that something is not quite right in this world that we live in. There's a bit of a sickness to it, or perhaps there's something that needs to be expressed, something that needs to be said, that you are meant to make something that people see, that people watch, that people hear from that deep knowing, from that intuition, and from your deep knowing of these tough experiences that you have uniquely been through. You have a unique perspective because of the trials and the tribulations that you've gone through in your life to communicate these deep, painful, moving truths to other people, okay? So perhaps you know this deep knowing that you have within yourself, that you were meant to do something special, and that can be quite painful. The reason that I say that that can be quite painful is when we have a vision and we have a deep knowing that there is something unique about us, that there is a gift that we were supposed to give to the world, okay? And we're not doing that. We know we are unaligned. We know we are not living inside of our purpose, and there is a pain in that. There is trauma in that, right? And it reminds me very much of the idea of Stoicism. If you know, I've been quite obsessed with Stoicism lately, and it's a Greek philosophy. And basically, the idea of the Stoic, a person who is a Stoic, who believes this philosophy, their biggest accomplishment is in life. The only thing that truly matters to a Stoic, the only possible disappointment is not living your life to the full potential that you know with this deep knowing that you were meant to live. Stoics do not fear death. Stoics do not fear pain. The thing that hurts the most is the thought of being on your deathbed and not have accomplishing the gift, the purpose that you were meant to accomplish on this earth. This particular card is card number 43. It breaks down to a 7. And sevens are sometimes considered lucky numbers, right? This is a blessing and a curse. When I say a blessing and a curse, what I mean by that is it's so great to know that you are special. It is so great to know that you are lucky and that you are blessed with this deep knowing and this deep intuition. Excuse me. And perhaps this creative ability. But when you are not living that purpose, it is a curse for you. And it hurts. Any day that you spend not aligned with your purpose, not working in conjunction with it, you feel cursed and you feel a void, and you're often perhaps saying, you're searching your own moon and you're saying, why do I feel like something is missing? And that's because you might not be aligned with this, okay? This certainly, I had mentioned creativity here. Now you could use that deep knowing, that intuition to create something beautiful that is seen, heard, read, right? Creativity comes in so many forms. But also, I feel like this deep knowing is, it's almost like a promise that you made. It's almost like a soul contract that you have signed. And you remember signing something, but you feel perhaps like you wrote it in invisible ink, and you're searching. How do I get the words to show up, the message to become clear? Okay. The last card that you've pulled here in regards to purpose is the Clean It Up card. I get so much from this particular card. Okay. First, this idea that there is a mess. Remember how I said in the beginning that we live in a sick society? And when I say that, I don't mean like a perversion. I don't mean that. I mean that what is considered normal nowadays, there's a certain sickness in it. You can always judge the health of a society based on what is considered normal. And look at what is normal now. People being on their phones 8 hours a day. People faking beautiful lives on social media. And then later coming out and saying it was all a lie. I'm really depressed. I'm really I'm not who I say I am. All these outfits that I posed in for all these events that I was going to, I never actually went to them, right? I read a story about a woman that actually did that. She created this whole false life. She would get dressed up for events, and she wasn't ever going anywhere. She lied about it all on her social media, okay? You are meant to, with this pain, with this experience, to create something with this deep knowing that cleans up a sick society. Now, this could be literal cleaning up, right? Organization, right? Think of Marie Kondo, right? Perhaps you help people to minimize space, to create beautiful spaces in their homes, to get things organized. This could be literal cleaning services, right? Perfecting people's spaces. You might find that you're drawn to those clean with me videos that you find here on YouTube. I know I love to watch them. I'm not sure why, but I certainly love to watch people organizing their spaces and cleaning, right? I could also see the use of your intuition as a gift as well. Perhaps the story that you're telling, the experiences that you're speaking are based in something in the metaphysical, right? Perhaps you can become a tarot reader. Perhaps you're that highly intuitive. You feel like you have a psychic ability. You could even be a Pisces here with this idea of the moon here as well. But on a deeper level, you were meant to clean up somebody else's mess. As I said, it's hard being special. And there's this idea that it's difficult to feel called to fix other people's messes, right? I feel when I say clean up other people's messes, I mean that what our society tries to placate as normal, this idea of working ridiculous hours, right? To make the bare minimum to pay your rent, and then even then being expected to have enough to consume, right? All of these ideas of what is considered normal in a sick society, okay? You were meant to speak something into the world, to show some art in the world, or to perhaps even create something in the world. A child even, right? A family even, this idea of motherhood and of the Empress here. That causes a change, causes a ripple in what is considered normal, that makes people stop and think and feel something. You are cleaning something up with your knowledge of experience, and you're sharing that into the world. Let's get some more cards here in regards to some possible careers, and I'll break down several careers for you based off of the cards as we go through the reading. So if you don't hear a career that resonates with you right away, please don't click away. Up until the last second, I'll give you several examples, okay, of how this can relate to your particular reading, okay? Well. If you know how I build my readings, I like to take a long time on the first row of cards. And a lot of people say, I don't like it when you do that. I like it when people get all the cards out on the table and they go ahead and they give the reading all at once. It certainly makes for shorter readings. And there's a specific reason why I typically don't do that, unless a reading really calls for something like that. Because I want you to know that I am not using the cards to give you the message, right? Sure, a card can guide me, but I want to work to pull as much from my intuition as possible from each card in the first row, and then we'll back that up with the rest of the cards that come out with the reading, okay? So as I had mentioned, this idea of creation, right? You've got the builder card here. I also mentioned this idea of motherhood. You have children here. And I also said something about speaking, right? About delivering a message that is meant to uplift the world, to clean the world up, and creativity. You have the creative expression card at the bottom of the deck here. Your soul longs to express itself creatively. Now, creativity can come in so many ways, okay? You could be a painter, you could be a drawer, you could be a singer, an actor, a writer, right? You could be a YouTuber. You could run an Instagram that puts beautiful pictures up. I know that sounds like it's not art, but curators of art have their own artistic sense. Okay, I could see fashion here. You could say something with clothing. You could make a statement with a piece of beautiful cloth. Okay, I also could see photography. I could see, there's so many, right? Go down your list of potential creative endeavors, and this certainly would suit that. Okay, so if you've ever thought, man, I've always dreamed about being an actress, or man, I've known that I was meant to be seen in some capacity, or I don't want to be seen, right? But I certainly want to deliver a message. I do this with my work, right? I'm a writer, and nobody knows what I've written. Because it's all under a name that people would never guess. Okay, some people want to create and not be known and not be seen. Okay, regardless of what that is, you were meant to make something. You were meant to hatch an egg. For some of you, it's a literal egg in regards to children. Okay, regardless of what that is for you, you are meant to do that. Okay, your soul longs to express itself creatively. That's the void. That's the emptiness. Are you making something? Because if you're not aligned. And that leads to these moments of unhappiness. Okay. I for some reason I got stylist just now, so I wanted to mention that, not to get distracted. Okay. Okay, so creative expression at the base. Now, we have the card of the builder here. Your innate ability to build and create brings you a deep sense of accomplishment. I want you to think back to any activity where you were making something, whether that's a scrapbook, whether that's a vision board, whether that is sewing, knitting, underwater basket weaving, right? Taking pictures, singing a song, little tasks like that, that made you feel like you were almost in a flow state while you were doing them, okay? This is what you were meant to build. It could be even the smallest thing that could really be that thing for you, okay? Now, another example of how this could be done is home building. Home building, architecture, right? This idea of creating a home, perhaps, for example, right? The sickness that you see in society, what you need to clean up, is how we live. Perhaps you have the idea of one of those mansions repulses you, right? And you've thought of ways to make container ships into homes and make them eco-friendly and make them affordable for low-income communities, right? Because I had mentioned this idea of perhaps community being something that it means something to you, right? You want to not just work, not just fulfill your purpose, but to feel like you've helped your tribe, you've helped the people around you, you've uplifted the collective. Okay, you could be a builder in that sense. Construction, architecture, as I had mentioned, even something like landscape design, right? This could be a interior designer, somebody that makes a house a home, the Marie Kondo, but you go a step further, right? You don't just help people organize, you bring in beautiful furniture. If you are into feng shui, or if you look on Instagram at pictures of beautiful homes and you're like, man, I would love to live there, right? Here's what I would have done differently. I would have put this vase here, or I would have styled this shelf this way. That could certainly be your calling as well. You could create home, or this could just be literally building whatever it is that you're creating, building art, building a book, building anything, right? Your intuition, right underneath this idea of your owl speaking, your intuition speaking, you've pulled the card of speaker, okay? This card is very lovely because obviously we have angels across the board, but this one, the wings, there's something much more prominent here. Okay, this one says that your life purpose involves your skill of oration. Now, know that speaking doesn't mean public speaking. You could speak by posting a picture. You don't even need a caption sometimes, right? You could speak by typing, right? Writing a book that people read. They read your message without the words actually coming out of your mouth. Or you could literally speak. I can certainly see stage theater here. I could see acting here, right? I could see you embodying a character, perhaps. I could see you here at the acceptance stage of the Oscars or the Emmys, right? Picking up a beautiful award, being seen and being considered lucky, that number 7, right? Because of your gift of gab, your gift of delivering a message, a certain kindness, a certain way that you were blessed to speak to others. And the last card here is the card of children. Your life purpose involves helping, teaching, and healing children. Now, as I had mentioned, this idea of motherhood, right? With clean it up, children can certainly be messy, right? You could be bringing people into the world. You could be building them up to be beautiful leaders that create great change in the world, right? You could speak to them about your experience, about your intuition here to mold these beautiful children. I also could see here somebody that works. This one is a little bit off, but I'm getting it, so I'm going to mention it. I could see somebody that works in like child protective services, right? Or somebody that works in with immigrants, perhaps, right? This or refugees. This idea of shepherding children, of shepherding families from dire situations, from messy, complicated, war-torn areas, right? Poverty, from bad neighborhoods, rescuing children from parents that are unfit, and coming in as the mother, as the empress, right? With your intuition and helping them build a better life, helping them create. You could be the co-creator for a child here, right? Your influence on their life breeds this egg, breeds this new chapter for them. Okay, that's another way to tell a story, certainly, to uplift children in difficult situations, right? Or families or mothers in difficult situations, and to shepherd them into a new chapter in their own lives to help to clean that up as well. Very, very beautiful cards here. Just going to do a quick scan before I move on to the next portion of the reading to kind of make sure that I didn't miss anything here. I don't want to list everything that comes under creativity because there's just so much. You'll know if you have an affinity to creating something. If that applies to you, you're going to be like, yes, all those sweaters that I knit, I've always wanted to make a documentary about it, or, you know, whatever floats your boat. There's no judgment here. Different things move different people, right? One of the things as well that I could see here is therapy, right? This idea of perhaps being a child psychologist or a child therapy, speaking gently to children, getting them to drudge up negative experiences, and being the cleaning crew that almost cleans their mind and their heart out to help them heal from trauma or from difficult situations. Again, you would be a co-creator in that sense, and a builder in that capacity as well, except instead of building a building, you're building a person, right? You're trying to help a person through difficult times to come out as undamaged as possible. And your ability to speak softly to them, to children, or just to their intuition, to their brain, right? You can get data from them. You can get negative experiences from them. And you could even have a deep knowing of the brain here, right? This moon almost acts like a brain. You could be the owl on that head that is able to find ways to weed out information on if children are being hurt, on what trauma they've experienced, on getting them to talk about abuse, about divorces, about all kinds of subjects that children would go to therapy for. Okay, so you could be the cleaning crew in that sense. I'm going to sway the pendulum here for you. For pentacle number 1, please. And while that's doing that, I'm going to get some tiles for you out as well. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, you've pulled the number 2 here. And the question that I asked was how long it would take for you if you were starting from 0 in order to be able to not only do this work, but do it in a way that was successful and that provided you with some abundance, okay? Now, in these tiles, I certainly want you to look for any of your first, last name or middle initials, right? To see if you find yourself in your own reading. But also, I want to see if I find any key words that I feel are relevant to the spread. A lot of vowels here. And I find that quite interesting. If you've ever gotten a personal reading from me, you know that vowels to me in these particular tiles are always water. There's a softness to a vowel, right? Love would not be love without the O and the E. There's something about vowels to me that add the color in life. They are the emotions in literature, in words, right? And you've pulled a ton of vowels, a majority of vowels. You're going to make the keywords very, very difficult for me, but I'm going to do my best, okay? This note about all these vowels, there is water in you somewhere. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to be a water sign. Certainly you could have water in your chart in some capacity. I had mentioned Pisces perhaps here. This speaker card to me is always very similar to the Ace of Swords, right? This idea of truth, of clarity. You could be an air sign as well. But you have water in you, as in you have a softness to you and an ability to heal. Water is quite healing. And there's something about your mouth, about when you speak, about the words that come out of your mouth. There are diamonds that flow out of your mouth when you speak. There is water that comes out of your mouth when you speak. I'm not talking about spit, okay? I'm talking about emotion. I'm talking about softness. I'm talking about the ability to string together a sentence to the point that you can console somebody without even realizing it, okay? There are some people that I've met that have such a great skill of oration that it sounds like poetry. Sometimes they'll say the most mundane things, but they'll say it in such a special way that it's like, wow, like, do you even realize how good that was, right? I'm stealing that, okay? Now, as far as the key words go, I always tell people that it's not about every single tile that's here. It's about the words that come out as I scan very quickly left and right. Now, one of those words was you. I saw that almost initially, almost right away, right? You and your, as in this is you and this is your. There's something about this reading that is undeniably you. It is undeniably your purpose, okay? It is what you were meant to do. I also see orate here, this idea of the speaker. I see oration, even though we're missing some of the tiles. I see poet here at the beginning, even though we're missing the P, okay? I see or, which is quite interesting because it reminds me very much of the Six of Swords. This idea of helping people move from troubled waters, right? Perhaps in the mind specifically, with this deep knowing and this idea of the speaker, of the counselor, right? Of the therapist, but also as the co-creator. As the creator, you help people move. If you make a film that motivates somebody to change their life, okay, you are the person rowing that boat in the Six of Swords. You are moving that person to calmer waters, okay? Let's see here. What else? Interesting. I see the word to here as in as well. T-O-O, okay? Perhaps this is this idea that not the number 2, but perhaps the idea that as well, you'll do this work as well with somebody as well, perhaps on a creative team, right? Perhaps you'll get a partner that will do this for you or with you, excuse me. Very interesting. I see ray here as well. Ray is in a ray of sunshine, like you're meant to disinfect the world with your own sunshine. But also, interesting. I almost get this as like a spotlight, like a ray of light on you as you're taking the stage, as people read your work, as you're noticed, almost like the Six of Wands energy here, or the star getting recognized. Okay, certainly star could show up here as well. I know that I'm missing a lot of tiles for this, but for some reason I see cartoon here. Perhaps that's something. And children, right? Perhaps you've always wanted to create a cartoon, or you didn't realize that you have a special gift for something, some kind of content that would work for children specifically. Especially with all this beautiful softness that you have. You're like, this is Mr. Rogers energy here, right? With these beautiful soft tiles. Think about Mr. Rogers and his impact on people, on children, and how he was able to talk about difficult situations and about kindness and about cleaning things up in society through children in a way that was so incredibly special. Very, very interesting. Obviously, if you notice anything in the tiles that I missed, please put pile number whatever, right? Pile number 1, and any notes, because I know that other people certainly love to read this as well, okay? All right, let's move forward with the reading. I'd like to go ahead and ask what specific strengths you have right now for this task, okay? For pile number 1, please. Strengths. Strengths that pile number 1 knows or does not know about here for this particular path and for this particular work, please, for pile number 1. The High Priestess. For pile number 1. One more card, please, for strengths for pile number 1 for this work. Okay. Very, very nice. Now, the King of Swords was at the bottom of the deck here. Certainly an analytical mind. The King of Swords is authoritative, an excellent speaker. I also see here this beautiful cup of love that you certainly could have within you, all this water that I had mentioned, right? I see this as an open heart, an open spirit, one that blesses others, this beautiful dove, this beautiful bird that floats here, right? The Five of Swords, helping somebody let go of something, helping people, your unique ability in speaking perhaps, or in working with the mind in particular, right? Because swords represent our thoughts, of helping other people let some pain go, let some trauma go, okay? Trauma could also appear here as well, okay? You have that specific ability, perhaps because you've done it yourself. Because as I had mentioned, I feel that pile number 1 has not had the easiest life, okay? We also have the Knight of Pentacles. Now, this is quite interesting because obviously it speaks to a certain abundance that you can build from this particular career. But I also see this very much as this idea that you have the patience, the consistency, and the like the temperance almost, to know that paths are built, they're not given. Because you've been through it before, and there's something about you knowing that good things take time. You're not in a rush. You're not in a rush to do it quickly. I know what this is. With work like this, there is a certain virtue, okay? It's not about having followers. It's not about getting a certain dollar amount, although I do feel very much that you will be financially abundant in this work, okay? It's about doing right, and it's about doing it right, okay? Some people operate off of the idea that done is better than good, and in some instances I certainly would give that advice. But in this work, good is better than done. It needs to speak, right? You need to know it's special, what the work that you put out. You need to know that it's different. I see people, because it's so unique, them shelling the coins out for you, right? For this particular work, which is quite beautiful. And there's like a determination. I almost see this as a stubbornness in you. You're not a sellout. And that's what I meant by it has to be unique, it has to be special, it has to be good. This could actually, I could see this as a weakness as well. Perhaps you've always wanted to start a YouTube channel. I see you and almost tube here as well, okay? But you've always feared, you've always been afraid of putting yourself out there, of how can I do this? What if people make fun of me? What if it's not a success, right? There's almost like a sense of this perfectionism perhaps sometimes slowing you down. Because it's never perfect enough. And trust me, I feel you. I know what that is like when you make something and you're like, maybe I'll just wait 30 years to show it to somebody until it's perfect. It's never perfect. It is never perfect, okay? The last card here is the High Priestess. Again, this idea of the deep intuition, of the knowing. You were meant to build. And this, your experience is your unique ability to see behind the veil. Help you do that. You also have a task. I'm getting like a responsibility here to enlighten the world, to show them what is behind the veil, to show them life beyond the 3D, beyond the material, beyond the nonsense that matters but also doesn't matter. Okay? Very, very interesting. What weaknesses do we need to work on for pile number 1 in this work? What weaknesses, please, for pile number 1? Don't let that word scare you, okay? Weaknesses are good things. They're challenges to rise up to. And with this expression of the Knight of Pentacles, I know you're not afraid, okay? All right. Yeah. As I had mentioned, I could see this. I could see this as a weakness as well, right? This idea of perfectionism, of I won't stop until it's perfect. You've got the Hermit here, and we've got the Nine of Swords, stressing yourself out, spending too much time in your head, double guessing, right? And chaining yourself to the thoughts that stop you from taking action. The Hermit card here is, it's time to get outside. It's time to show your work. It's time to boldly go and do the thing. Even if it's small, even if you do it anonymously, okay? You don't know who I am, and here I am, creating, okay? There are ways to do this without showing your face, if that's something that you're concerned about, right? Or without being seen, okay? We have to get out into the world. We can't internalize everything, and we can't say next week, next year, right? We have to do the work. We have to let our light shine. It's time to come out of hibernation. Time to stop hiding and to instead move on. I love how this fell out as well, okay? This idea that your strength is forward movement and your weakness is staying inside. They fall right on top of each other. Your strength is helping people to let go. Your weakness is holding on to too much. Man, it's like that saying, therapists go into therapy because they really need to help themselves, right? I see something like that here. This expression of you, this creation, this advice, this guidance that you give others. Sometimes it's hardest for us to follow our own advice. And that is what you need to do. It's time to be bold, to take action, to get out of the cave, to get out of hermit mode. You know what you need to know at this point. You're ready. Okay, I almost see ready here as well. Time to get out of your head, leave the swords behind that aren't helping you, and embark on this new, passionate endeavor, on this thing that will fill your cup. Okay? Lastly, I want to get some charms for you. Okay, we've got some flowers here. As you know, for me as a reader, when I see flowers, I think of seeds. I think of this idea of beautiful flowers that you plant in people's heads, whether that's through a song, through a TV show, through a therapy, right? Through whatever it is. You inspire, you create change in the brain and the heart, and you help flowers grow. You plant seeds inside of people. You plant seeds and beautiful flowers inside of society. I can also see this as a reference to home, this idea of beautiful flowers on a table, okay, perhaps decorating the home in some capacity. I see a nod to children here with our little bumblebee and with our teddy bear. Certainly this idea of working with children, right? I also see these bright colors here, beautiful array of colors in your charms, and living life in color, coming to the edge like that whisper told you to, but perhaps adding color into the world, right? Through painting, through whatever. Okay, I see you're going to be a busy bee with this little bee, but you're happy to do it. In fact, stagnancy at the base of your weaknesses was the Hanged Man. Pisces again. Pisces, 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 right? We have Virgo, earth, air, and water here. Something interesting that I just got here. This weakness with the Nine of Swords is operating off of a place of fear instead of your strength, which is love, which is this water that you hold within you. You are water. Be water, my friend, okay? Busy bee. Stagnancy is difficult for you. Now, sometimes this could certainly be a weakness in regards to either you're laying around too much, right? Or you have, once you get activated, once you get on that purpose, it's hard to slow down because you're like, yes, this is what I've always dreamed of. And you go, 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 go. And sometimes it's time to stop being a busy bee and to spend some time in the nest, right? I see a teddy bear. Certainly could be a nod to children again, but I also see this as a comfort animal, a comfort thing. You are somebody that is meant to comfort the world. You are something squeezable, okay? That brings people peace. An elephant here, perhaps this idea of having a great memory, but also a painter, because I know elephants love to paint, right? And I sense a certain spiritualism, especially if you are of the if you believe in like Hindu beliefs, right? This elephant, or you're from India, this elephant might mean something very, very special to you, okay? Perhaps this thing that you're healing is in some way how it is that we treat animals in some capacity. And that is why animals have shown up here as like your guides, as your signs, okay? We have a bike, this idea of moving forward, a chariot, Cancer energy here. Certainly the nod almost that it's time to go, it's time to get moving. Okay, a ballerina certainly could be a dancer in some capacity. I see weight. You could certainly help people in regards to weight loss. Perhaps the thing that they're cleaning up, perhaps the thing that you're speaking on, the thing that you're healing, that you're creating our bodies, as in helping people with nutrition or helping people with weight loss as well. But I also see this as letting go, helping people to release pain, to release trauma, okay? Another nod here to the metaphysical, certainly the intuition, right? Or even to India with the henna type patterns here on the hand. A shell, your softness, your water. I love this idea of a medic cap over the heart. Okay, you heal hearts. You are a doctor of the heart, even without the medical experience. Don't go operating on anybody. Okay, that's not what I mean. 2 love tokens here. Again, this water, this love, love, love. That you are meant. Another shell, a carrot. This reminds me of children, but also this idea of nutrition, perhaps, right? Another carrot here. Fish, nutrition, but also water, right? Yes, you're meant to swim. You're meant to affect people's emotions. A turtle, slow but steady, wins the race. You're building something that has a certain virtue to it. I had mentioned perhaps fashion or beauty in some capacity, right? I see that here with the comb, this idea too of order, of cleaning things up. And then we have a lion here. Interesting. You could certainly be a Leo. We have a lot of water here with Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. But this idea of strength, of being built with the strength, to overcome any fears, anything that stops you from moving to this purpose. But also, I see this as this animal here. It's almost like you're protected in this. It's time to stop being afraid of it. Okay, your sidekick is with you at all times. The last thing is this little orange slice. Again, certainly could be in regards to nutrition, but I see this as a slice of life. I see this as the sun, Leo again. I see this as beauty, as warmth, as something that nourishes the soul, that has, it has vitamins, it has nutrition. It's not empty calories like a piece of candy. Fruits fulfill us, not just satiating our hunger, but they help our bodies thrive, right? And that is what you are. You are the fruit of the world. There are a lot of empty calories out there. Just go look on Instagram, right? There are a lot of empty people. There are a lot of people that are consumed in an empty way. They don't add value. They don't add, I don't want to sound harsh, right? But they don't, the things that they do don't affect people directly like you can. And you are the thing. You are the nutritional value. You are the slice of life. You're the one that says, eat your fruits and vegetables. And damn it, you're going to like it when you do. Okay? I see that this is you. There's something about you that not only quenches hunger, but quenches thirst, because oranges are so juicy, right? And you bring warmth into people's lives. This beautiful standout orange too. Once you operate from a place of love instead of fear here, you will shine. People will be like, man, that's a bright shirt, right? If you've ever seen somebody wear an orange shirt, you're the orange shirt. Man, that thing is bright, overflowing. I can feel that warmth. I can feel that love from pile number 1. All right? Alrighty, pile number 1, that was your reading. I hope that you enjoyed it. Again, if you'd like me to do a personal reading, please let me know. I really enjoy doing these deeper work type readings. I know that most of the people that watch this channel do. Any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know down below in the comments. And please let me know how this reading resonated with you. I'm going to think of an emoji here for our... for pentacle number 1 that you can leave in the comments. Perhaps we could do, let's see here. Let's do a moon, since there's so much about this that is intuition driven. This deep knowing, right? Let's do a couple moons if you want to leave some moon emojis down in the comments below. Alrighty, I hope that you enjoyed this, that you got some clarity from it, something to make you think at least, right? And hopefully I see you on the next video. Bye-bye. Alrighty, if you picked pentacle number 2, then this is the reading for you on what your ideal career is and how it relates to your life purpose. You've pulled the charm of a 2007 kroner. It says Denmark here at the bottom. I'm not going to focus too much on channeling from the coin. I'd like to jump in to your cards. As you know, I typically only take jumpers and flippers, so I always ask that people be patient in the shuffles. For pile number 2, please. What can you tell me about life purpose for pile number 2, please? For pile number 2. You certainly could be from Denmark, right? But obviously you don't have to be. Alrighty. Very, very interesting. At the bottom of the deck, you've pulled the card of Yang. This is card number 1. I always relate this card to people with a deep internal power that is waiting for you to open up and to let out into the world. There's also something about receiving here, right? Because notice that these particular stars, they descend into the hands. So it's almost this idea that as you give, you also receive. There's something very self-fulfilling here. I almost get like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, I feel like this might be the most challenging deck because this idea of yang, of the thing something that could be our yin or our yang, this idea of opposites, this may be something that you haven't thought of before, or that you might not think yourself capable of. You might not feel that you have this orb of strength in you, this light that is meant to be shined upon the world. So you might struggle with this idea of this thing being so different from you, okay? I just want to give you that little preface before we get started here. I always say, keep an open mind. You don't know what will or will not resonate with you. You've also pulled the card of community here. This idea that the work that you are meant to do is to uplift the collective. You are meant to help the community in some regard. You could work with children specifically because as we see this particular giraffe consoles or kisses a baby giraffe here. Certainly this idea of a mothering nature about you, perhaps, that is good with uplifting a community, that is good for caring for others. Here we also have the card of round and round, and this is quite interesting, this idea of cycles, right? I get the life cycle very strongly from this particular card. I get nature taking its course. I get something that happens to all of us, perhaps dealing with death specifically, okay? This idea of the cycle of life, of things coming and going, and being somebody that helps in that capacity. I could also see this as this idea of a hamster on a hamster wheel, right? Helping people, perhaps people in your community specifically, to, in some capacity, get off of their hamster wheel, off of doing the same thing over and over and over again, breaking down habits in some capacity, okay? With the Unfinished Symphony card, there's something about this work that has yet to be done. There is something that has yet to be achieved. Perhaps you've already kind of started on this path in some capacity, or you've thought of ways that you can make this happen for yourself, but you have yet to finish. Certainly with this Unfinished Symphony card, there's this idea of music, of creativity in some form, of creating art, of writing a book, of doing something like that, hatching an egg that is waiting to emerge. As you can see with this face that appears on the egg here, this egg is a full-grown child by now. There's a whole adult here waiting to be hatched. This idea that you're not a baby anymore. And there's something about you that is waiting to emerge. You've spent too much time in the cocoon. You've spent too much time in this shell. And it's time to finish the process of becoming who it is that you are truly meant to be, and breaking through that shell and giving yourself, your symphony to the world, your work to the world, okay? This is the card number 10. 10s usually means endings in the tarot. This idea that you're on the cusp. You are on the cusp of this great change. Perhaps you have found yourself going round and round lately. And this idea that you're like, oh, will I ever break this cycle? Will I ever get to this place where I'm ready to let my egg hatch? With message in a bottle here, you certainly could be a water sign. I get earth energy here from the community card. There is something within you, a message that is meant to be delivered. There's something about depth here specifically that I'm getting. There's something about the things that we can't see underneath the surface. And you have those things. You've spent time not only up above the water, but down below. You've gotten a view, a glimpse of things that most people are afraid to harness, are afraid to look at, right? Because the ocean, the deeper you go, the darker it gets. And the scarier the creatures that are down there, the more unknown that is down there. It's time for you to pop a bottle. Not in the club, okay? But in yourself. It's time to unscrew that cork and to let this message, this thing that has been building up inside you for a while, letting it hatch, letting it come to the surface. I'm getting here that there is a recipient that has waited for your shore to push this message along. And it's time to answer the call and to make your message known. Very, very interesting. For pile number 1, please. For pile number 1, please. For pile number 1, please. interesting as well. Yeah. Okay, at the bottom of the deck, we have time to decide, and this is very much this idea that I got from the 10 and from the message in a bottle. You're ready to pop. You are ready to crack the egg. I almost get like there's something uncomfortable. There's something uncomfortable about sitting in this knowing that you're meant to do something and you haven't completely attached to that thing. You haven't lived out that purpose yet, and you're ready to burst a little bit here, okay? So it's time to decide and it's time to move forward. I noticed that there's a lot of numbers on this particular card. There's a lot of data here. Perhaps there's something about numbers specifically that you find an affinity to, but I also see this as time fleeting, this circular motion very much giving me the same sense from this round and round card, this idea that time is almost at a standstill and it's time to break a cycle. But also there's something about time, about death here. Now I want to kind of get into this thing about death first. I know it's a bit of a sensitive subject for some, but we all die, okay? None of us are immortal, and if you are, please tell me how you did it. I could see this manifesting in a couple different ways. First, this idea of a spiritual teacher over the round and round card. You heal with your classes, sessions, and seminars. There is a light within you. This is not religion specific, right? There's a plethora of different symbols here. Whatever spiritualism means to you, whatever it is that you connect with. You could be a preacher, you could be a yoga instructor. I believe the yoga card came out underneath the time to decide card here. There's a light within you. There's a message within you. There's something about you, about your deliverance of something that puts people in the water, that heals them in some capacity. I also love the idea of the unfinished symphony card in this regard, because it's almost like us as human beings, we're always changing, we're always growing. We are all unfinished symphonies until our last day on this earth. And then, especially if you believe in coming back into another life, we start over again, trying to finish the symphony, the promises, the karma that we had from the last life, right? I see that you could be somebody that gives somebody spiritual guidance in difficult times, in regards to perhaps finishing their own symphony, right? Finishing the tasks, the goals, the dreams that are quite important to them. I could see this as a spiritual coach or just a regular coach, right? That coaches people and helps to push them, helps to hold them accountable, right? A life coach, if you will. I could also see this as a therapist, somebody that helps people through difficult life transitions, specifically perhaps health-related issues, okay? When somebody gets sick, and that even though we know there's an expiration date for all of us, right? When it hits you that there's a certain finality with health, perhaps there's this soothing, sensitive, healing way that you can help people in that transition, okay? Even here with the unfinished symphony, it's almost like a will for some, right? Helping people with end-of-life choices, end-of-life decisions, and with all of the emotions that come with that. That is certainly a way that you could help community here, okay? You can uplift people in that way. And even here, this idea of message in a bottle, it's almost like letting the ocean take something away, okay? Letting nature play its course and take something to a different chapter, take a person to a different chapter, a different realm. You certainly have the sensitivity to do that. There's something empathic about you. Your intuition might feel very, very much like you can forebode, you can sense how people are feeling without them ever even saying anything. We also have the card of energy healing here, certainly helping people align the chakras. I see Reiki, I see crystals, work with crystals. Your natural energy healing abilities are an important part of your life purpose. But also I see here helping people to get into a Zen state with something as simple as your words, or with a philosophy here with the spiritual teacher card, okay? There's something about your delivery, about how you listen, about... This is very, very interesting. I wonder, pile number 2, if you feel like sometimes you absorb other people's energy. And sometimes you're there for people in a way where you're so invested emotionally, you can feel that energy, and you take these burdens off of people, and you feel very drained by the end of that process. It's almost like you're meant to absorb energy and then expel it for others that can't do that for themselves. I also see here that there's something about your specific energy that helps people to heal with this idea of an unfinished life. Perhaps people that feel like they have failed their community, their family in some sense, because they didn't achieve everything that they had on their bucket list or something like that, right? And you help to heal that feeling of you did what you were supposed to do on this earth. Okay, you can heal them in that way. With the you're on the right path, I see this as a couple things. First, this idea that I had mentioned that it's almost like you've already started this and you're waiting to fully acknowledge that this is your purpose, and that you're finally going to take the steps to do it. Or perhaps you've already looked into some of these things, but you've failed to take the appropriate action, right? So you've already perhaps started, and now it's time to keep going, keep doing what you're doing because it's working, okay? I could see this too as even something as healing the self, working to heal your own chakras, working to fix your own energy, so that way you can help other people do that as well. The last thing that I will mention here on the You're on the Right Path card is this idea of transition. As I had mentioned, this idea of the ocean of nature, taking something away to a different shore, to a different chapter, to a different realm, to heaven, to whatever it is, whatever kind of afterlife you believe in, or a lack thereof. You are perhaps the angel that helps people to push them along that path. Right? I'm with you. I'm holding your hand. We're walking through this together. This, I got a song here for you. I typically don't get songs unless I ask for them, but I want you to listen to this song and see how it resonates with you. It's a Death Cab for Cutie song, and the song is I Will Follow You Into the Dark. There's a song. There's some notes in that song that say, if heaven and hell decide that they both are satisfied and illuminate the nose on their vacancy signs, if there's no one beside you when your soul embarks, then I will follow you into the dark. There's a sweetness, obviously, to this idea of loving somebody so much, their humanness, their fear of going into the dark, as in going into the afterlife, right? As in making that transition and holding their hand through that. There's another line. I'll link it down below, the song for you, okay? There's another line that says, you're all worn down, the time for sleep is now. But there's nothing to fear, 'cause we'll hold each other soon in the darkest of rooms. And I feel like you are that hand holder. You are this angel that is meant to help people in a spiritual sense. Again, that doesn't have to be religion specifically. There's lots of different interpretations of what spiritualism is, okay? You help to hold somebody through the darkest of rooms. So a spiritual teacher, certainly I could see that here. I could also see this as an actual healer, as a nurse, as a doctor, as somebody that works in hospice, as somebody that works in the medical realm in some capacity. I could also see this as counseling in the form of helping people, helping communities, helping the people that are left behind. Notice here with this giraffe stands, the older giraffe, right? It stands underneath this hut that is starting to fall apart, that is starting to decay. And a child of that giraffe stays, right? Even here, you can see that this adult giraffe is lit up at its core, at its heart, as in like it's becoming an angel almost. There's a light there. It's like the light at the end of the tunnel, right? It's like you've been touched. It's your turn to transition, right? I see like the angel's hands on this particular giraffe, and there's somebody left behind. This number 8 card certainly reminds me of the 8 of Cups, this idea of somebody going away, somebody departing, okay? And who is left behind in this situation? There's family, there's friends that need your specific sensitivity, your specific healing, perhaps to deal with the trauma, to deal with the pain of losing somebody that they love, to connect them with this idea that this is a part of the circle of life, right? And that this isn't so much an ending as it is a new chapter. What happens next, right? Let's finish the symphony. Let's keep moving forward. You help to usher people on that path. And perhaps to dig deep, right? To dig deep. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, my goodness. To dig deep within themselves, in order to address those monsters that lie at the bottom of the ocean surface of this emotional thing, right, with all this water, but also to say goodbye. I see a visual of a family standing at the shore, and almost like in this bottle, perhaps there are ashes. And you are helping them to let the ocean take this away, to release that pain, to give closure, to give healing. You're helping them through this unfinished symphony to close the process out and move forward. That is, wow. That is something, okay? Not an easy task. Certainly you have been charged with a great responsibility, okay, in this particular work. Just scanning through while the pendulum swings to see if there's anything that really stands out to me. I could certainly see, too, this idea of perhaps helping in the community in regards to lifting people up, healing their energy. I could see this as like somebody that volunteers, somebody that works at a community center, okay? Somebody that helps people that are either in poverty or that are living through trauma of some sort. Think of orphans, right? Who do they have to lean on? Who do they have as a mentor? Who do they have as somebody that tells them that everything is going to be okay? You could be that person. You could be that healer of their heart. Okay. Certainly with the religious context, you could be very much you could find your purpose in religion, and you could certainly spread that religion as a pastor, as a somebody in a church of some sort, right? Very, very interesting. You've pulled the number 2 on the pendulum here. 2 years to really, if you put your heart into this, to flourish. To make a complete life transition. If you find that this resonates with you, 2 years is all that it would take to get the ball rolling on this career, on this purpose. Okay, very, very interesting. I also see this perhaps as I had mentioned nurse, but specifically perhaps a nurse that works in like convalescent homes, right, with the elderly, the people that have almost feel like they've been forgotten. So many people that end up in nursing homes and things like that feel like they've been forgotten, and you can certainly help them in that way, right? You can help them to not feel alone, to be their company, to hold their hand, to read to them, to lighten their spirits in some way. Very, very, very nice. I'm going to pull some cards for you in regards to the strengths that you specifically have that will help you in this endeavor, okay? 2 years is not a long time to make yourself flourish in this particular work. And I always say, even if you felt like 2 years was a long time to completely change your life, which feels silly to say, right? Like, oh, I have to wait 2 years to have it all, to be emotionally fulfilled and financially fulfilled and to live in my purpose, right? If you're doing it to have it all, is it really a long time, right? It actually is quite quick to make a transition. Strengths, please, for this work. For pile number 2, please. Strengths, please. For pile number 2. Strengths, please, for pile number 2 in regards to this work. I love that message with the message in the bottle of helping people to say their final goodbyes, right? I could even see this as somebody that works in like funeral services, or even a more natural way of doing that. I know I forget the term, and if you know, please let people know down below for this particular pile. There is this revolution coming, right, of the way that we deal with death, and the traditional ways of like getting somebody cremated, or immediately from the hospital they go to the morgue, and then from the morgue they go to like a funeral home or something like that, right? There are people that they help families through transitions of these deaths, and they stage the bodies with in a very beautiful way, and they keep them at home, and people could come and give their condolences and sit by their bodies. A way of like reimagining that process of letting go, that is a bit untraditional. I forget the term for that type of work, but if you know what I'm talking about, please let me know down below, okay? For pile number 2, please. For pile number 2, strengths, please. One more card, please, for pile number 2. Okay. You have the 6 of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, the 4 of Cups, and the 5 of Pentacles. Very, very interesting. If you notice the way that I build these spreads, I know that it irritates people sometimes because it means the readings are longer. But I spend a lot of time on this front row because I want you to know that the reading is coming from my intuition, not from all of the cards, okay? Some people want all the cards up front, and I always feel like that's cheating. So I put rows at a time. First, I build spreads. This is a very interesting spread based off of what we've pulled. Now, the 6 of Pentacles, this idea of balance. Again, for some reason, I very much get this idea of what is left behind through transition. These butterflies representing transformation, right? Death, rebirth, okay? With the 6 of Pentacles, it's like glass half full, glass half empty. What is done? What is not done? This very much feels like this idea of the Unfinished Symphony card as well. There's something about you specifically that's so grounded that you can help people to kind of come off that emotional ledge and to look at things from a more factual, earthy perspective, okay? There's also something about you that is quite natural. There's an embrace of nature specifically. And so something like this wouldn't scare you. It wouldn't, this idea, right, of dealing with something so weighty, it wouldn't scare you. You know that you can build. You know that you can, you know that that this is a part of life, and there's something beautiful in what other people might find taboo or scary. Okay, I see here too this idea of charity with the 6 of Pentacles. There's something charitable about your work. You're giving something of your work. Another song here for you. There's a song called What Sarah Said, same band. I'm so sorry to keep bringing them up in these readings, but there's a line in that song that says, love is watching someone die. Because that's a painful process, right? So you know that you truly love somebody if you're willing to go to through the anguish of holding their hand at end of life. Love is watching someone die. so who's going to watch you die? Those are the lyrics of the song. It's called What Sarah Said. There's something about you specifically as a strength, okay, that allows you to remain calm, balanced, and to give of yourself. Where other people might be like, no, I can't do it. I can't hold my mother's hand as she departs. It's too painful. You can give of yourself. You can sacrifice that emotional toll so that other people don't have to. This brings me back to this idea of almost like absorbing energy, so that people that weren't built that way don't have to muster that pain that they were never meant to built for, okay? I see that here. It's very, very beautiful. So there's something about giving. Again, nurses they give, right? They give so much of themselves, and they certainly don't get as much reciprocation as they should, as much acknowledgement as they should for what they do, for their contribution to the world. So there's almost this notion of a bit of your work being charity. You're Mother Teresa, except you're not doing it for free, right? You are getting paid, okay? I see that this career will help you to live a more balanced life too. You can have a family, perhaps, have your job, have hours that are flexible and things of that nature. Now, I had mentioned that this reminds me of the cycle of life, and you've pulled the wheel of fortune here. The circle again, the starts, the stops. You help that wheel move forward, and you help people when that wheel reaches the end. You are strong. You are time. You help people with time, and dealing with time being finite, being an X, being a end. You are a good luck omen as well. As I had mentioned, you are this angel. I see people looking at you and saying, what a blessing was pile number 2 in my life. I almost see, because I had mentioned like wills here, right? Like you could be written into people's wills because you were there when it mattered, when other people might have abandoned them through this difficult process. Very, very interesting. You're blessed in this venture, and I see that the universe, how could it not, right? How could it not favor you in this type of work? With the 4 of Cups here, I see that there's a certain detachment. You can detach yourself in just the right ways and compartmentalize emotions in just the right way so that you can give of yourself without not having anything left. You know, okay, when I do this work, once I leave the threshold of the door of this person's home or this nursing home or this hospital or this church, okay, once I do that, that's where I leave it. And you can go on about your day without it consuming you like other people. Other people would be consumed by this. There's a detachment I'm getting. I hate to say boredom or apathy because clearly you're doing something so important. But there's almost like a water off a duck's back. This is just life. This is a part of life. You can't let it knock you down. You can't be so torn through these processes that you are unable to help the next person, that you quit, okay? There's a resilience here with this 4 of Cups. Sometimes people being able to block certain emotions is a good thing, right? And then we have the 5 of Pentacles at the end. At the end, as I said, letting go of the ocean taking something away and you being the angel that shepherds them. This 5 of Pentacles, remember that traditional imagery of a church and 2 people out in the cold. You are the person in the 5 of Pentacles that helps the other person so that they are not out in the cold alone. Now, obviously, this could have an actual tone of religion to it because I had mentioned a church pastor or somebody that works in a religious institution, right? So you can help people come in from the coldness that they feel in their life, and you could help them find a spiritual connection, an emotional, watery connection with their life, to start a new life in a new way that is guided by whatever God it is that you believe in, or whatever spiritualism it is that you believe in. You are the person that is standing outside of the church with this person, either to bring them in, right? Or to help them depart, as in leaving the warmth of the church, leaving this reality and moving on to something else at end of life. Very, very beautiful. Weaknesses, please. For pile number 2. Now, as I say weaknesses, please don't be afraid. We all have things that we can work on, okay? For pile number 2, one more card, please, for a weakness that they can work on. Surely you're not afraid, because you wouldn't be doing this type of work if you were, okay? All right. Very, very interesting. The Ten of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Now, certainly this idea of resilience, right? Of building yourself up to be able to weather these storms. There could be a death in your life, in your family, that you wish somebody would have helped you through, or a spiritual connection that you wish that somebody would have brought you towards when you were younger or throughout your life experience. And that is what that Ten of Wands could be. Also, the idea of feeling drained, because as you absorb energy, as you change energy, whether this is tarot, whether this is Reiki, whether this is spiritual work or nursing or something like that, right? As you absorb this energy, it's very tiring. So this idea of rest, of self-care, of really being on your game and not letting that slide into disrepair so that you can continue to do the work that you're meant to do on this earth. With the King of Wands here, I see too, perhaps, this idea of being stuck in the past. Because this King of Wands looks to the past, and I almost get, I get like a conflict here of what the world values. The glitz, the glamour, and you perhaps feeling like this work would not be in line with what is considered popular or cool or trendy nowadays. But somebody has to do this work, okay? This is work that might not make you insta-famous, but it will have a deeper impact on your life than even the most famous Instagram person, okay? Just as an example. I don't want to bash on Instagrammers, obviously, or influencers, but it's just so relative to the fact that I'm on YouTube. That's why I always use that example, okay? So I see a challenge here of almost like, am I settling with this life? Shouldn't I be doing the things that all these other people are claiming to do? Because a lot of times that's not a real reflection of their lives, right? No, your purpose is here. And I see perhaps distraction. I see this King of Wands as a distraction, right? What are other people lusting over? Money, fast cars, what is it, right? And you being torn occasionally. But then coming into this place that this is your purpose. This idea of bringing something back from the dead, of transition, of being the angel over the cemetery, over the coffins here. This is very, very beautiful. You are that angel. You are that angel to help people through this transition, okay? And the Knight of Pentacles here. I see this as a weakness. First, I can see it certainly as... Oh, with Judgment, excuse me. I almost missed the actual weakness here in Judgment. Now, I feel like these all actually fall in line with the same thing. Fear of judgment, right? Fear of judgment, and almost like, what if there's something better? What if there's something easier or something... You might find fame in life. You might find... faster money, you might find more abundance in material things in other realms. But remember, this isn't just about work. This is about what will fulfill you, what will fill that hole, that void in your life. This is the work that will do both, that will sustain you financially and will help you live with this purpose that you have. A life full of money with little purpose or no purpose is not a life well lived. Okay. I see that here with the Judgment. I also see this Nine of Pentacles as the glitz, the glamour, this is your biggest, the hardest pill to swallow. I'm getting this independence, this how can I make more money? I could certainly, as a nurse, for the work that I do, I could certainly put the same hours in somewhere else and get paid a lot more, right? But there's a reason that nurses keep going back to their trade. It is a part of you. It is built into you. You're a bit of a caretaker. Pile number 2. Whether that's through energy, through spiritualism, through the physical, or through transitions, you are a caretaker. Okay? Very interesting. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get some tiles for you. As I go through the tiles, certainly see if you find your first, middle, or your own last name initial in the tiles. Also, I will go through some keywords for you that I feel relate to the spread or relate to any additional jobs that I see that could fulfill this purpose, okay? When I get the keywords, please know it's not about every single tile that's here. It's about the words that jump out to me as I scan back and forth very, very quickly. Okay? All right. We have OUSOQNWRH blank AMBIWR. A couple of the words that really stand out to me are war. This idea of perhaps being a medic, perhaps working as an actual healer, as a doctor, right? But I see mental war, emotional wars. You are helping people through those processes, okay? I also see nurse here as well, this idea of nursing. I see RN here, as in like registered nurse. When I saw AMB, I automatically thought ambulance. Somebody perhaps that works in those types of services, right? Ambulatory services. What else here? I see hour here as well. Hour is an HOUR, right? That the hour, the time. There's something about the Wheel of Fortune, about time. Time is, you're like mother or father time here. You help with time, you help with transition, okay? I see like final hours here. I see night hours, I see like dark hours, war hours, okay? You're meant to help people through those tough times. Literally, times, hours, okay? And then I saw hours as an OUR and OURS. As in a mutual responsibility to care for community, to care for each other, to care for your neighbor. Like we are responsible for taking care of one another, and I see that responsibility here. Wow. I see mourn here as well. Mourn comes out, the process of mourning. I also see hurt, people that are hurt, right? I see house here. Perhaps you offer these services in the home. I also can kind of make out hospice a little bit as well. I see noise here too. Interesting. Noise, helping to calm the noise, the chatter, in people's hearts and people's minds. Just making sure that I haven't missed anything. Obviously, If you see something that I missed, please let me know in the tiles. In the tiles. If you let me know in the tiles, it'll freak me out. Okay. In the comments down below, just put pile number 2 some keywords, right? Because I know that it helps other people with the tiles if I miss something. I see lamb here as well. There's something religious certainly about that, right? But I also see something about mercy with the lamb, as in sacrifice. Again, this idea of charity, of gift, of giving. I think that's everything that's really standing out for me here. I'm going to wrap up by pulling some charms for you in regards to this purpose. Alrighty. First thing that stood out to me is this building. It looks like a skyscraper, but it also looks like a hospital. Very, very interesting. You could live in New York, certainly, or like a big city or something, right? I see this unicorn with wings on it, this idea of the angels, of helping people fly, of something magical and impossible here, okay? A leaf, very much a reminder of the seasons and of time as well, right? Clouds, cloudy days, you being the ray of sunlight in cloudy days for these people, for these families. A ladybug, yeah, luck. Right over the Wheel of Fortune too, 2 wheels. Luck, luck, luck. You are a good luck charm to other people. You are a blessing in their lives through difficult times. This box here, that's a very interesting charm. I hate to be morbid, but that certainly could be a coffin, okay? Again, you could be interested in working in a morgue or something like that. This box, or perhaps like a box of ashes. Interesting. A slice of pizza here. You know what's funny with this pizza is I almost get like this sense of, because I had mentioned community, right? If you work at like a nursing home, that could be why I got nurse and house here, okay? Or you're an at-home nurse. This idea of like pizza nights, of being that ray of light, of being that thing that brings people peace, right? The peace symbol here. With fun activities, with let's enjoy the time that we have. These 3 dolphins, interestingly enough, another whirlwind, as in like the cycle, right? The cycle of life. You could be a water sign. This idea of being able to access these beautiful, deep emotions, okay? But I also get like us taking care of each other, a community. We swim together, we're all fish. A shell, I see this as this message in a bottle, because shells, they make that sound, right? They whisper to us. There's like a story that a shell tells. A teddy bear. I see this as comfort. You were meant to comfort others. You were meant to help them heal. Okay? A fox here. What's interesting is foxes are so misunderstood. They're such a playful, beautiful creature, and they get this. They always get the stigma of being like sly or slimy or like, right? But they're actually quite smart, quite intuitive. I could even see this as a dog, right? As in like a loyal best friend, somebody that never leaves somebody else's side. I see a blank nameplate here, perhaps this idea of a name being erased, of death, of, very interesting. A cello here, music, that certainly could be a way that you express yourself. A microphone to indicate speech. You could heal with your words in this capacity, okay? And then a symbol of the heart, just helping to heal the heart. This little bowl here, bowl type symbol, it could be a tauren. And I see this here as well. This is a scroll. It's like a diploma, but I almost see it as this soul contract that I was referring to earlier. I also see this as the title page. Some readers will consider it the title page in a tarot box, right? As in a contract, a will, a last living, a trust, a something like that where you get your house in order. Okay. I see this red wine. I hate to say it, right? But with like the Four of Cups here, perhaps you have a glass of wine every time that you're like, okay, it's the weekend. I have to decompress from this heavy work. Okay. I also see the American flag here. It's funny because I had mentioned service, right? And this duty, this idea of like being bound to this work. There's something moral about it, about helping one another, about doing your duty. There's almost something like patriotic about it, right? Another heart here, the tile A. And the last thing is a palm tree. I see this very much. Certainly it could just be like the tree of life. This idea that you're helping people to go on the ultimate vacation. What a beautiful way to look at it, right? We're going on on a new adventure, on a beautiful new trip, okay? With the idea of a palm, right? Very, very beautiful. Pile number 2, that was your reading. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm very curious. A heavier spread, and I know that we covered some heavy stuff here. Think about it before you push it away, okay? Think about it before if it feels too foreign to you, right? I warned you from the beginning that we're going to have to keep an open mind with this one. I thank you so much for stopping by the channel, and hopefully I see you again in the future, all right? Bye-bye. Alrighty, if you picked Pentacle number 3, then this is the reading for you on what it is that you are meant to do for your ideal career that ties well within your life purpose. You've pulled this 2 yen, I believe. It's $2. It's from Hong Kong, and there's a picture of a beautiful orchid on the front of it, stamped into the front of this particular coin. Perhaps you have an affinity to flowers or something, right? I'm not going to be channeling anything for the charm, but I certainly will be jumping right into your cards. As you know, I typically only take jumpers and flippers, so I always ask that people be patient with me in the shuffle. We're going to start with the question about your life purpose, and then we're going to build the spread from there in regards to more specific career as we get a little bit further and further into the reading. I also wanted to let you know that as I go through the reading, if you don't hear a career that resonates with you right away, please know that I'll be listing them as we go throughout the entire reading, everything that comes to me. So please don't click away the second that you hear the first thing, because we'll be discussing several different career options for the spread as we go, okay? For pile number 3, please, in regards to life purpose. Pile number 3, please. Okay. Now, at the bottom of the deck, we have the Orphaned card, which is quite interesting. This is card number 5. Often I see this as the number of conflict in the tarot, right? The 5 of Wands, the 5 of Swords, the 5 of Cups, even. This idea that you are perhaps meant to help people that are in a place that they are in conflict, okay? I also see this as the potential of working with specific orphans, right? There's perhaps something about your life, a way that you have felt orphaned yourself, okay? In this card, the visual is of a woman with her head down, draped in this beautiful dress, but she is dressed like a bird. She has a bird beak and one of those masks that they keep over birds' faces, okay? And she sits a bit saddened here on this perch, something that was meant to fly, that was broken down a bit, some of the joy removed from this particular little bird's life. Wings clipped, I get this idea that this perch, there's nowhere to go here. It's hard to see the silver lining in whatever situation this orphan finds themselves in. Now, this particular perch could be something that was built yourself, right, after years and years of self-sabotage, perhaps, or conflict, or trials and tribulations, and now you feel like you're in this place where you want to get down, you want to fly off in the distance, but notice that there's no ladder here. There's no easy direction for this bird to get down from. And when we look in the distance, there's no visual on what it is that she can or cannot fly to in the horizon, a gloomy picture, right? I feel very strongly that you were meant to help people in this orphaned state. Now, orphaned state can happen in several different ways. They could literally be orphaned, as in you working and dealing with people that are dealing with actual homelessness, children that are in the system, but also emotionally orphaned, right? You could be somebody that works as a therapist, somebody that works as a counselor in some capacity to help people off of the purchase that they build for themselves. The situations that they put themselves in where their mind is so doom and gloom that they can't seem to get forward momentum. They can't become that fool. They can't take a leap of faith because their vision is so clouded by clouds, okay? You have the card of flexibility here, this flexible card. You also have a leg up here, which is quite interesting for this particular spread. And you have not for you here as well. Very, very interesting. Now, I can see this manifesting in your life purpose in several different ways. The first, this idea of flexibility, of rolling with the punches, of when something bad knocks you down, being able to be malleable, to learn from the experience, to grow from the experience, and to bend. You are not somebody that breaks easily. Even though you might have found yourself in that orphan state yourself in the past, you are somebody that has learned to bend with the tides. You have learned to swim where others fail to swim. There is a flexibility in your emotions, in your body, in your mental state that allows you to bear changes, transitions, difficult moments that most people cannot deal with. Okay, I see that this image of this woman balancing herself in a yoga-like pose. I can see certainly this idea that there's this heat to it, okay? Like forged in fire, but also a pressure cooker here. Remaining flexible and calm under pressure here as well. This egg that she does this maneuver over is ready to hatch. There's a lot of pressure that has been building here. Perhaps you help people to relieve pressure. I almost get a pressure cooker, right? This idea where like you're the person that releases the gasket to let people get their steam out. I could see this in a couple of ways. I could certainly see this as the idea of yoga, right? Helping people to align the chakras, to come back off of a dark emotional, mental, or physical space, like that orphaned card, through the bending of the body. I could also see this very much as this idea of you helping people to get this burden out by exercise, by physical activity, okay? But also teaching them the tools, perhaps, to help them to transition to a new phase of life. This 19 breaks down to a 10 as in the end of something. Remaining flexible through transitions. I could see even divorce being something that you work in or around here. This idea of helping people bend through the end of a relationship even, where they, a wife, a husband, might feel orphaned because of a separation or a fracture in the family. You are that thing that helps people to bend because you are yourself are emotionally, mentally, or even physically quite flexible here, okay? Now, at the center, we have the card of a leg up. And I feel like this is you in this spread. There's a coldness to this card. You certainly could be an air sign, but you don't have to be a Gemini, a Libra, or Aquarius. But there's this idea that you flourish in cold situations because there is a coldness about you. That doesn't mean you're not warm or loving or, right? That's not what I mean. I mean that you know how to put facts before emotions. You know how to keep yourself composed. And so you're able to survive in environments that are bitterly cold. And I heard that word bitterly very, very clearly, okay? These cold climates that people find themselves in their life, you are the person that gives them a boost. You give them a leg up. You are support. You are a guide. You are a leader in some way. This idea of a leg up, perhaps in the mind, because I get air energy, I get swords from this, and swords clearly our thoughts in the tarot. So perhaps you help to build people up from places of depression, places of extreme sadness, places of grief, of loss. This card breaks down to a 7. You are somebody's lucky charm. You are support. You are resources that come in at a bitterly cold time in people's lives, and you help them get out of that situation. Now this card is quite interesting as well. The Not For You card, card number 6. Sixes to me always represent the past in tarot. They represent something from childhood, something from youth, trauma perhaps from that time, but also a reminiscing of the past. And I see here in this particular landscape that somebody looks out the window. They're like a bird trapped in a cage. Okay, this door, this window, this perch, it's like them looking out from this cage, like this bird does, okay? And they look at all of their strategy, all of the possibilities of this chessboard on the table. And you are the person that helps to give them vision, that helps to give them insight on the moves that are not for them logically. There's something very smart about you, whether you feel smart or not. There's different types of smart. There's book smart, there's street smart, right? There's a combination of those things. There's spiritually strong. You are the person that helps them to open that window, to help this bird get out of its cage, to make decisions here about strategy, how to win the game, right? And what is and what is not for you. I also see that you could be connected yourself in the spiritual and the metaphysical because of this fortune cookie at the center that says nope, as in not for you, no, right? You could help people steer their path away from something that is not meant for them, and help them strategize ways to get to things that are for them. Unlike this particular card that says not for you, there's something about fortune, about fate here, about you perhaps helping them as like a soul brother or a soul sister to find their true calling, to find their fate, to strategize towards a new horizon here. Very, very interesting. With the leg up here and flexible, I could certainly see rehabilitation as well, like physical rehabilitation, right? Helping wounded veterans, helping people that are going through physical transformations. Think of people that have been hurt in accidents, right? You're the one that helps them to heal, that helps them to rehabilitate themselves in some way, okay? Light and love at the bottom of the deck. Your purpose is to bring divine healing light and love to this world. And we can see that here certainly, right? With the orphaned card, there is a lot of light. There is a lot of sun that is needed in this imagery. And you are that thing. I feel like you can brighten people's perspective about the future, about what is to come. I also see here that you have a bedside manner to you, a lightness to your spirit that is divine, right? And that is healing in and of itself. The type of love that you're able to pour into other people, people that feel like they're broken, people that feel like they're in the darkest place. You are the ray of light that comes through all of this fog in this sad imagery here. Okay, let's see what else we have here. You could certainly work with energy, right? I certainly can get the idea of chakras, of yoga here, right? You can help heal that in some capacity, and get them out of this place of coldness. We have animals, we have options, and we also have nutrition. Okay, so a couple of the basics. We had mentioned already this idea of health, of physical activity, of yoga, of flexibility, of working people out, right? Perhaps nutrition could play a part in that for you. Think of a chef, right? A chef that helps people to come to optimal health. Think of somebody that cooks with organic foods, with a health conscious aspect of their nutrition. I could also see a dietitian. Okay, I could see a dietitian. This idea of not being able to take flight, perhaps because the body has not been taken care of, right? And there's a stagnancy. There's almost like a sluggishness when people don't take care of themselves and they don't eat right, right? A weight here with this orphaned card, and this idea that like we've built up this weight so much, these bad habits so much, that how do I start on my health journey? You certainly could help in that regard with the nutrition card. Okay, you could be a vegan or a vegetarian, right? You could help people move to more organic forms of eating. You could help people get on diets. You can even help people that have eating disorders here with the orphaned card. Okay, this idea of a beautiful dancer, a beautiful bird that is almost like, because you can see her bones here in the back. You could work with somebody that is, I don't want to say withering away, because obviously, I know that a lot of people struggle with these issues, and I don't want to be insensitive to that. But we can see the bones here. So somebody perhaps with anorexia or bulimia, you could help them. You could heal their body in some way, okay? And help them strategize a logical way over the emotions to get to what is right for you, a leg up, a help in the transition towards that, okay? I also see here this idea of helping animals, helping the environment in some capacity, right? Animals are orphaned as well, not just human beings. And you could work as a veterinarian, right? You could be a healer of animals. You could also work, even here you're giving a leg up to another animal, right? You could also work in the advocacy for animals, as I had mentioned. Perhaps you're vegan, right? The idea of animal shelters might come to mind for you. This idea of connecting with animals on a deeper level than you do human beings. They are such a loving, loyal group. We really don't deserve animals, okay? This card reads, you understand animals and communicate with them intuitively. Trust your inner guidance, as animals are a part of your life's work. Even from the perspective of, let's say, rehabilitation, right? Or healing as a doctor or something like that. Animals can be a great comfort in that endeavor. There are animals, service animals, right? That help the blind, that give them a leg up. So that they can remain flexible and active in their lives, right? This idea of looking out the window, there's something very much about not being able to participate here, being locked inside. And the face is very blurred here, so it certainly could have something to do with a lack of vision. You could help to train animals for the blind. You could help train seeing, what's the term? Is it seeing eye dogs? You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. My brain is my brain is not activating there for some reason. But certainly this idea of helping animals or using animals as a form of therapy, as a form of healing. Okay, we even see animals in hospitals, especially with young children, right? Because even here, this animal, this thing that you're helping up, is a baby. Okay, so that could be a literal child. Think of children at St. Jude's or in cancer wards and things like that, where they can't get out. They're watching life from the inside, and they're looking out and they can't participate. Okay, and they might feel closed off from the world here. They might feel like a bird in a cage here that can't fly, that can't do what it was meant to do. Okay, birds are young, are fresh, they go from place to place. There's a vibrancy, right? And you could help in regards to bringing support animals to environments like that, to help to heal the heart and to uplift the spirit, right? To help people in their path to healing. Very, very beautiful. Let's see what else here. Protected here. You are safe and supported while you change your career. So this could certainly be something that you're on the path to changing right now. But I also see this as you being a protector. You could be a Sagittarius. This always reminds me of temperance, this idea of an angel come down to help, to heal, to put us back together. Okay, you could be that protector for other people. As I had mentioned, not everybody is meant to bend, right? Some people break under this kind of pressure, but you are forged in something special that allows you to do that emotionally, mentally, physically. And being this protector here, okay, you help other people to go through that because they are not used to being able to bend that way. Okay, even as a healer here, as a doctor, perhaps, right? As a surgeon, I see occupational therapy here. I see people going through, this is interesting. I even got here with the healer card, experimental trials, like, cancer trials, people that have to get into these special trials to get therapeutic treatment of some sort that that is rare, that is exclusive, that you have to like make it on a list for. Okay, very interesting that I got that. You could work in some capacity doing specialized, very, very specialized medicine. Okay, a healer regardless, though, an actual doctor or a nurse. Or as I had mentioned, this idea of like working at a rehab facility, even rehab in regards to alcohol and drug abuse here as well. This idea of not for you, of restricting something that you know will lead you to this path, right? You could help people with substance abuse issues and with alcohol abuse issues and things like that, okay? Very interesting. Coming into a better alignment with the body by expelling all of these toxins that we pump into our bodies, right? What else do we have here? I had mentioned nutrition, and then options. I see that this career gives you several options. There are several ways to heal, right? There are several ways to protect others. There are several ways to uplift people in your community, whether that's from a health aspect or a spiritual energy aspect. You have so many different ways that you can help to bring this forward. Even not working with people, working with animals specifically. I had mentioned a veterinarian, okay? There are many, many ways that you can get the same fulfillment, the same emotional, mental stimulation, and financial abundance by doing this type of healing work. Okay, I also see here the ability to branch out into several different things with the options card. It states, consider the career possibilities that are open to you. So perhaps this is great energy for those of us that can't sit still for too long. As in, if you work for a job for 5 years, you might feel like, okay, I've done this, I've accomplished this, I need something more. Perhaps you start at a rehab facility and then you work at the emergency room, or you move from working with animals at a shelter to becoming a veterinarian. There's so much growth, right? That can be possible in all of these different possibilities. Obviously, if I missed one, if you see something, please let me know down in the comments, because as I'm going through the reading, I can overlook something, certainly, and you might find something, and it certainly helps other people to see the possibilities here. Okay, I was going to mention something here. Oh, yes, with animals here too. This idea of perhaps working with endangered animals, working in the sciences, or working with exotic animals. Working with exotic animals specifically. Interesting. I'd like to get the pendulum out for you. And I'm going to start swinging this for you. Pile number 3, please. And we'll get this deck ready for you as well. You are meant to be a healer, though. I mean, even underneath energy healing, you are meant to heal with your light and with your love. The number 3 has come out. 3 years to flourish in something in this regard. Now, obviously, if you're going to be an ER doctor, okay, it's not going to be 3 years. We'll say 3 to 4 because of the fact that this kind of shifted slightly as I moved it, okay? 3 to 4 years, though, for you to get a foothold, a foot in the door, and well on your way towards making this become a reality. Some of these things that I had mentioned certainly will take a little bit longer, but even a doctor, okay, you might go to school for 3 years and then start services like in regards to being an intern or being an orderly or right, doing rounds and being like a physician's assistant, things like that. I could even see a dentist here as well, okay? So even some of the more difficult ones, you can actually get your hands on the thing that you're doing. You can start making money, making opportunities for yourself even before you finish the extensive education that something like a doctor, right, would have to complete. Many ways that you can make these things happen, okay? But 3 to 4 years before you could really flourish in this. And we see 3 and 4 here at the center. I can't help but to point that out, okay? Let's see what kind of strengths you have for this work. Strengths, please. For pile number 3 in regards to this work. Strengths, please. Yeah, wow, that's incredible. For pile number 3, please, in regards to this work. What are the strengths, please, that pile number 3 has uniquely special to them to do this work? Okay. I see the 10 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. This is certainly work that you could do with families, especially from a healing perspective, right? I was going to say that you could even be in pharmacy, like a pharmacist or something like that, right? Especially when I had mentioned this idea of substances, right? Not in a bad way, in a good way, okay? Yeah, I could see something like pharmacy work, or family practice, family healing, like a therapist, a counselor, right? Or a family doctor in some way. Certainly a nod to this incredible abundance that I felt that you would get from this work, the apex here of financial abundance, but also something that very much allows you to spend time with family as well as to build abundance, okay? This is not something that is done alone. I almost wonder too if you will find, if you're not currently coupled, if you will find your future spouse in this work as well. Something to think about, right? Earth energy here at the bottom of the deck. We have the 10 of Wands here. I hate to repeat myself, but you are flexible. You are strong. You've been here before, and you know how to bend. You've built the muscles up to carry this weight, to be the protector. And you've had a series of endings in your life that you have navigated, difficult situations that you've gotten yourself through, burdens that you have endured that make you special for this kind of work. I also see this as being a hard worker, right? The 10 of Wands, obviously, this idea of carrying these heavy wands. One of the things that we forget often, particularly with the traditional imagery of the 10 of Wands, is the visual of the man's arms that hold those wands. He is getting buffer and buffer and buffer as he holds these wands stronger and stronger and stronger. You are strong, and you need to be strong to be a protector. Perhaps you're physically strong as well, especially if you're in like a nursing field, right? Because there is lifting, there is a lot of being on your feet, right? So this idea of your body being physically strong and being able to withstand the burden of that type of physical work. I can see that here as well. I just got masseuse in my head here. Interesting. Certainly something that is also physically taxing, right? But helps to heal and helps spread light and love, and certainly helps with energy healing as well. I could see Reiki work in here also, okay? With the Hermit, this deep introspection. I see this as seeing needs that people have before they even themselves realize that they need them. Like you're the light inside of their light. There's something about your light, again, this idea of light and love, that you can bring light to the darkness. I also see that you can shepherd people off of this ledge. They can just follow your light. Not just your light as in your love, but I see light as in your example. You live according to this example. If you are a health practitioner, you live a healthy life. If you are a personal trainer or somebody working in fitness here, right? Even that with the Ten of Wands, you are fit also. Okay, you're not saying do as I say, not as I do. You actually back that up, okay? Now with the Hermit, this idea of going within, I certainly can see that you have this deep introspection. Certainly makes for a great bedside manner, right? And for a certain empathy. I also see this as work that you might do indoors, so you'd have to be comfortable with being in a hospital, being in an animal shelter, in a physical building quite a bit, right? You're okay with that. You don't get claustrophobic, you don't get antsy, right? You can be inside and be okay. You might even consider yourself a bit of an introvert, but that doesn't have to be the case, okay? You have a wisdom to you too that allows people to see a higher perspective, especially if you're dealing with let's say somebody that's a recent amputee or something like that, and they're like, what am I going to do with my life now? I have no way to get around. I'm stuck on a perch. I'm immovable. I'm going to be in a wheelchair, and the difficulties that come with living your life in a different way. You have the insight, the wisdom to share with them, the light at the end of the tunnel, where you're saying, follow me, I'll show you how to do those things. Okay, a very, very beautiful, specifically if you are a therapist of some sort, right? A psychologist. Okay, with the Six of Pentacles, your balance and your earthy nature too. You could have earth in your chart. Certainly we have Virgo, fire, and some more earth here as well. Your balanced approach to life and your very balanced approach to change. You can change and do it in a way that is incremental and that doesn't overwhelm, okay? There is this idea of charity here with the Six of Pentacles as well. This idea that there's something of yourself, like you give a piece of yourself almost as you do this work. You don't just nourish people's bodies or animals' bodies. You nourish their energy and their souls, and you give a piece of yourself willingly in a charitable way to that. I often consider work like nursing, like caretaking, like doctors, even things like fitness and stuff. You're giving a piece of yourself because unless you're a doctor or something like that, right? Some of this work is not the most paid. Nurses, I feel like, should get paid like 10 times what they make, right? They're not as appreciated as other jobs, right? You'll be able to take care of yourself, no question, okay? You will be able to build something quite beautiful here with our Ten of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles as well. What I mean is there's an underappreciation. Okay, and there's something about you that is okay with that. It's your duty, you feel it is your calling. There are some things that are more important than money. This fulfillment that you get from this work, from helping others, from giving the collective a leg up. Very, very nice. What about weaknesses to work on, please, for pile number 3? Please don't fear when I say weaknesses, okay? We all have things that we're working on. It's not a reflection of you in any negative way, right? It's just stuff that we can improve to be our best selves. Some food for thought. Okay. Five of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Not focusing on the past, not focusing on cups that have been spilled, right? Especially if you've tried this path and it's failed. If you feel right now like you're in a place that is this orphan state, as I had mentioned, the number 5, right? There is a new tomorrow. Perhaps you are a leader by example, as I had mentioned, because you're pulling yourself out of the same situation. Okay, you could be in a similar situation, and somebody, you pull yourself out of this, and you can now mentor others. You can show people the way. Okay, with the 4 of Swords here, I also see perhaps our the thing about this work, okay, is that certainly there's a lot about your internal loving, your natural state that is of benefit. But we have to share that. We have to get out of the cocoon, right? There's something about self-expression that I feel here, getting comfortable being around other people, not in a large crowd or anything like that, right? But dealing with people one-on-one. Okay, if you are looking to go into the therapist route or like a counselor or something, I feel like perhaps we have some of our own issues that we need to tend to, perhaps somebody that we need to talk to, because the 4 of Swords is often thought of as the therapist card. There's something here that we need to work on. I also feel like something about drainage, perhaps the thought of, okay, how long is this going to take? Because we said 3 to 4 years, right? So here's 3, and then this one makes 4. You get discouraged and you talk yourself out of it, right? Like, oh, I can't do that work. If this work is your true soul's calling and you make this beautiful living, you're basically getting everything here, right? To get everything, wouldn't it be worth 3 to 4 years of your life of working hard? Right? I think that the answer to that is quite easy. 3 to 4 years is not a long time to commit to yourself and to this future, if it means you get everything. Okay? Happiness and finances here, okay? And a deep, deep fulfillment in your purpose. The second card is the Emperor. You certainly could be an Aries. We also had Virgo here. It's interesting because I see this very much as taking control and actually doing the thing. This is a 4 as well, so 4s could have a special meaning for you. I would look up the angel number 4 to see if that resonates in some way, or you could certainly be a life path 4. Okay, your numerology can add up to number 44. Okay, that's a master number. That is somebody that is meant to have a big impact on the world. You are meant to be a healer. Okay, this is somebody that takes charge. This is certainly somebody too that works in administration in some capacity, perhaps hospital administration, or that you work as the manager, as the leader, as the person that does the administrative stuff. Think CEO, think right, of a facility that does this work, or of a place that this work takes place in. Okay, I could see that certainly as well. So perhaps you don't want to be a nurse in the ER, but you certainly love the idea of being the CEO of a hospital, right? Or starting your own rehabilitation centers around the world, right? All we have to do is get out of our heads and take charge and start doing the things that leaders do, which is to lead, just like this hermit does, to lead. Okay, the first person that we have to lead is ourselves. So this idea of being assertive, perhaps, right? If you are soft-hearted enough, perhaps you lack in the ability to be stubborn, to be strict, to have that harsh self-discipline that might be needed for something like this, and to take that kind of control that might feel aggressive at times in order to make this thing come true. You might even have problems because this Emperor looks at this 4 of Swords with a little bit of he looks a little perturbed, right? You might even have some issues with seeing yourself as the type of person that could have a career like this. Okay, so the advice there would be to take control of your thoughts, maybe by speaking to somebody and releasing any negative thoughts that you have about your own abilities. I'm gonna get some tiles out for you. Ooh, dropped one. Here we go. I'm going to go over what tiles are here. I'd like to see if your first, middle, or last name initials pop up here, but also any keywords that come out. When I list the keywords, note that it's not about every single tile that is here. It's about what words come to me as I scan very quickly left and right, which words pop out to me. So if you see me make a word and we're missing a tile or two, I don't want you to be like, how did she make that word? Does she not know how to spell? It's not about every single tile that is here, okay? Alrighty. CANSTEOPDOYUSTO. Again, a first, middle, or last name initial. A couple of the key words that came to me are cake, as in the dietary nutritional realm, right? Stopping people from eating cake, getting healthier in some capacity. I also see cane, like a walking cane, if you are doing physical therapy or something like that. I see step here in regards to perhaps physical exercise as a personal trainer or something like that, right? I see PE here as physical education as well. And I also see step as in perhaps this idea of helping people regain their step, teaching them how to walk again, something like that, okay? Very, very interesting. I see saint here as well, like there's something like you deserve to be a saint. You're going to be sainted or something when you pass on, right? Because of all the lives that you have positively affected with this beautiful work. I see post here. Certainly this work could be done like in the military. I had mentioned a medic, that word specifically, okay? You could see that here as like at a post, as in overseas or something like that, okay? Just seeing pot in regards to cooking. I also see snack here, snack right here, the dietitian role, right? What else? I see day here, like this idea of daylight and a new day, taking a new step towards a new day, helping people from that very dark place. I see stop here as well, this idea of perhaps stopping addictions, stopping eating disorders, right? Stopping any kind of, I don't know, like perhaps people that need to let something go, okay? Even as a therapist, you can help people change their habits to stop doing things that are self-sabotaging them. I also see you here, the word Y-O-U, as in you are a part of your own destiny. You, this is very much you in your own calling. Just seeing what else really stands out to me here. I see dot and dots as in like connecting the dots, specifically if you're a healer of some sort, right? If you are a doctor or, right, there's a symptom, but you have to find the underlying issues, connect the dots to get the whole picture of what is wrong or what needs to be changed in somebody's health. Even as a dietitian, I could see that as well. I think that's everything that's really, really standing out to me. Obviously, you're more than welcome to pause. If you find any words that I missed, please let me know down in the comments below, okay? The last thing that we're going to do is we're going to pull some charms. Cupcake? Cake? That's so funny. Even cup and cake is here. So certainly a nutritionist, right? This is a slice of radish, I believe. This idea of health, okay? Helping people heal the body. The letter T has shown itself here. This blue always is like water to me. You could be a water sign, but it's like helping people weather the storm. Any wave that hits them, you're strong enough. You've built this up to help them weather it, to bend with the water, as opposed to like letting it knock you over, letting a wave knock you over. You're teaching people how to surf here. I also see there could be like water therapy as well here, right? I also see this as dealing with the emotions, the water, the love, you could be a counselor for divorces and things like that, for situations of love, of family, right? But also just pouring that love, that light and love that you have into other people. It's like you carry love on your chest, because this is a necklace charm. I see this little mouse. You know what's funny is I see this mouse as an oath. This is a duty. This is, we can almost, a duty is here as well. As in, you cannot speak about your clients. You cannot speak about their cases. I see cases here as well. You can't, there's a code of ethics. There's like HIPAA rules. There's, you have to keep things quiet. You can't share that information. It's like against the law or something like that. Confidentiality, okay? I see love here as well. We've already mentioned that. A cactus. Interesting. I see this very much as transition. I think 40 days, 40 nights in the desert, in the heat, in this place that where you feel abandoned, where you feel alone, where there's vultures waiting to pick your bones out. And you help to usher people in towards the water, towards the healing, towards the love, okay? From where they felt deserted before. Interesting. A slice of watermelon. Natural fruits and a carrot as well. Again, nods to the body, nods to health, nods to nutrition. A flower. I see this very much as this idea. First of all, you had a flower in your charm, which was interesting. But I see this also as planting seeds in people that blossom later into flowers, helping people to open up, to be vulnerable, to show the softest parts of themselves, and to emerge, to open up like a flower, okay? A butterfly over our Six of Pentacles with our butterflies, right? You could see this as a sign, certainly. But this idea of great change, of metamorphosis, of perhaps an actual physical transformation, right? But a transformation, nonetheless, you are helping people change their lives. I see too, if this is transformation in regards to literal healing, like a doctor or something like that, you are the person that keeps them from changing into the final form, into dust here, right? This idea of death, okay? You can bring them back from that bright light, right? And give them a second chance at life here. Very interesting. The last is a fish. Certainly a symbol of faith. I see this also as a possible nod to water signs, but Scorpio here with a butterfly. But I see this also as giving people faith. Certainly this healing, this work can be done from a religious context, right? You could give spiritual advice. I also see that this could be reaffirming faith, not just in like a greater good or something like that, but that good people, that goodness, that humanity is humanity. You reaffirm that faith in other people. Like, wow, like the world can be good again. And you can give people faith for their own futures from this dark place. Okay? I don't know if I mentioned it, but you certainly could work with children that have been orphaned. I believe I did mention that at the beginning. You could be that protector. You could be that healer, right? You can give children options in their life from coming from nothing, from glass half empty to glass half full, okay? You can be the emperor, the mentor, the guide that takes them out of poverty, out of parents, away from parents that are unfit, right? Abusive homes, things like that. You could be the shepherd, you could be the emperor, the leader, the person with the values, right? That allows them to flourish in their life in that way and restores their faith in humanity and in their future. Very, very beautiful. Pile number 3, that was your reading. I hope so much that you enjoyed it. Please let me know if this resonates with you and if I missed any opportunities, any careers, any keywords that you might have spotted. I know that it helps people when they see them in the comments, all right? I wish you luck with this. 3 to 4 years, you can do it, okay? Again, if you'd like a personal reading, please feel free to reach out to me about your specific path here, okay? Alrighty, I wish you luck. I hope that I see you again soon. Take care of yourselves, all right? Bye-bye. Alrighty, if you picked pile number 4, then this is the reading for you on your ideal career and how it is that your life purpose goes hand in hand with this fulfilling work. I'm not going to be channeling the charm today. I'd like to jump straight into your cards. As you know, with my readings, I only take jumpers and flippers typically, so I always ask that you be patient with me in the shuffle. We're going to be focusing on the life path portion of this spread first, and then we'll build from there. I will be giving you several examples of the different types of careers that could certainly apply to this particular life path and to the cards that we have gotten. So I always ask for these particular types of readings that you don't just focus on the initial stuff that comes out, right? Because as we progress through the reading, I'll be listing several different ways that I could see this manifesting into an actual career. So if you don't hear the answer right away, that really resonates with you, it might come up in the middle of the reading or towards the end, okay? Starting off pretty quickly here, okay? Very, very nice. Now, at the bottom of the deck, we have the poised card. There's something here about being poised for success. Now, the idea of poise certainly has to do with this idea of being ready, being prepared, being in a position. I almost get the that starting position of a runner, right? When they're on the ground and they're on those steps before that shot hits the air, and they propel forward, poised for success. There's something that I feel is very visceral about this particular type of success. There's something very much of, I almost get this hint of aggressiveness, of I don't want to say cutthroat, but there's something competitive. There's something where you're looking to excel. There's a hunger here. Poised as in like a lion looks at its prey before it goes for the kill, right? I could certainly see poised in regards to dance or physical form, and this idea of dance, of play, of enjoying what you do and getting this beautiful fulfillment out of it. And I also see this very much, this idea of poised for success certainly can be poised for celebrity or stardom in some capacity, because you stand on a podium, on a stage here, and stars are all around you. I also see the possibility here of this being something that involves public speaking, believe it or not, this idea of being at the podium, okay? Lastly, I will say that I certainly get the sense that the imagery of the dancer, there's something almost masculine about it. There's something energetically about the competitive nature of this thing. This is something that you have a deep burning, a deep desire for, and it doesn't come easy. There's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of hard work here, but you pose nonetheless, because you know this is your rightful place to sit on this stage, to sit on this altar, on this you almost look a bit like a trophy here. Perhaps you'll win some trophies as a result of this position, okay? Very interesting. A lot of stars in this picture. You certainly could be an Aquarius. You don't have to be, but I thought I'd mention that. We have, to be fair here, we have all that glitters, and we also have the Observer card. let's start with to be fair. Now, even here in the to be fair card, there's a beautiful dress that this woman wears, this idea of theater, this idea of costume, of dance, of like a black swan, right? There's something artistic here, okay? Now, you could find a fairness, a balance in artistic work, as in your alter ego finally being able to show that other half of you that you might keep hidden from others by doing this work on a stage. But clearly, this idea of to be fair with the scales in each one of her hands has to do with the legal system as well. This idea of fairness, this idea of justice coming out right at the beginning here, okay? Now, with this poised card, I had mentioned this idea of an aggressiveness. There was something about this particular pose that I felt was cutthroat. Now, that's not to say that lawyers or people in the legal system are cutthroat, right? But we have to remove emotion sometimes from this particular type of work and stick with the facts. And I see that here. I see this idea of dueling people at a lectern, at stating their case, right? And almost like a viciousness, like a king of the jungle type of imagery, right? This dance that you do perhaps in a courtroom in order to defend your position or defend your client, okay? I can certainly see this as somebody that is positioned to be seen and heard, literally, if you work in the law, right? If you are a lawyer, people hear you speak every day, and every day you stand at this podium. You could receive a lot of recognition for this type of work, the top lawyer in your field, and certainly that would bring about this idea that you could definitely be a bit of a star here. There's a lot of lawyers that are very well known, right? They represent high profile people. They work in high profile firms. They have celebrity clients, right? And there is something about being seen and heard and recognized as the best here with the poised card. So certainly something like a judge, something like a lawyer, right? Something like a court stenographer, right? Anything that has to do with work in the legal or the justice system could certainly be something that you would be good at. Interesting. I'm getting something here. Let me sit with this for just a moment. I could see this as well as dealing with estates, dealing with contracts. Okay, I could see this as well as dealing with home contracts, being like a notary public or something like that, right? This idea of legal documents, for some reason I'm getting that. Being somebody that deals with legal documents in some capacity. You could also be a legal assistant, right? This idea of helping somebody in the legal realm here as well. Very interesting. At the center of this deck, we have all that glitters. Again, this idea of being seen, of being heard. Now, this particular representation, certainly we could be very well recognized here as a top lawyer, as a top person in this field. But I see this too as drama, as theater. Think Phantom of the Opera, these beautiful masks, right? A singer, a musical, being a part of a musical production, right? Being a literal celebrity, okay? Being an influencer and being poised for success, I had mentioned, right? Perhaps an Oscar here or an Emmy, going up to collect an award and being kind of draped in the stars and people watching you, beautiful and poised and in this gorgeous gown, right? Certainly a nod to being seen, okay? I always get this idea of obviously all that glitters isn't gold, so there are downsides to this, right? As I had mentioned before, there's a competitive nature to this type of a position. Everybody, well, actually not everybody, but a lot of people certainly want to be famous. They feel like being famous will fill the voids and will make people love them and will bring them all the riches and everything looks like so much fun, right? To be wealthy or to be well known. But this is almost to say that there is a certain sacrifice, perhaps your time, perhaps the fight, the time that it takes to get into this field, paying your dues, right? like this sense that what you put into it will take quite a bit in order to make this happen. Perhaps less time with family, less time with friends, right? A lot of travel, for example, if you're working on sets that are shot in multiple different places, being away for a while, as most celebrities are, right? They don't spend a ton of time at home, especially if this is in the acting realm. Very, very interesting. I had mentioned this idea of being your other half, as in almost like a cosplay, a live cosplay, right? Of somebody, a character that you've always wanted to channel inside, and you finally get to do that in this form of safe expression. Again, this could be singing, acting, this could be writing music, this could be being a DJ, this anything that has to do with public recognition and the arts perhaps as well, okay? Very, very interesting card here. The last card that you have is the Observer card here. Somebody that has watched, somebody that has Googled on the internet. This is very Page of Swords energy, right? The Stalker card. Somebody is watching you. I see that here with the downside of this, right? People want your slot. There's a lot of double crossing, a lot of double dealing here, right? And so you have to be somebody quite special and quite smart and quite brilliant in order to first be seen in the herd of people that want these opportunities, but also to be able to survive and have have the ability to have longevity, right? And not be replaced by the people under you that are looking up at your stardom and saying, I want that, give me that, right? When they haven't worked on their own egg to grow their own egg, they're too busy looking at what you've created. I see possible jealousy here at how high you can reach. This is obviously every job has its downside, so please don't distress, right? Clearly, you can handle this. You were made to handle this because this very much is your purpose. To bring art to the world, to bring fairness to the world, to bring your alter ego out to play every once in a while, right? And I also see here to perhaps give people perspective on their own life. Perhaps the work that you do deeply moves the people that watch you. And these observers learn valuable lessons from the work that you produce. They learn something about themselves, about their own intuition. In other words, looking at you and the reflections of the characters that you play helps to teach them something about themselves. They learn as you express, okay? I can also see this very much as the eyes of justice. The Page of Swords I had mentioned, right, is that watcher card. And that was the energy that I got from this observer. And this idea of the sword, the Page of Swords, as in the leader of somebody coming in to deliver justice, to deliver news, to communicate. They watch the bad guys. They watch corruption. They oversee the system that keeps, or is at least supposed to keep things in order, right? So they could be the watchers of justice, the observers, if this is in regards to the legal field here as well. Very interesting. Talk about polar opposites, right? A little bit of the law, and then some stardom here. Again, you can have stardom either way, right? You could even be an attorney that works for celebrities specifically, that works for people that are high profile, a celebrity attorney. Let's see, for pile number 4, please, in regards to career and life path. Not just a job that will bring abundance, which we can see here, right? All this gold, okay? But a job that will be emotionally and mentally fulfilling as well. Didn't like how those came out. I'm going to reshuffle. If they're meant to come out, they will, okay? For pile number 4, please. For pile number 4, please. Career that will give emotional and material abundance in line with pile number 4's purpose, please. number 4, please. Oh, that's an interesting one as well. One more card, please, for pile number 4. Okay. Now, I see a couple things here. We had mentioned lawyer. We had mentioned actor, theater, creative in some way, right? I could also see this observer card as a photographer. Somebody that takes pictures of those in the spotlight, okay? You've also pulled crystals, energy healing, flowers, teaching, and environmentalist. This crystals card is very interesting because I don't see it as crystals as in gemstones or connection to energy. I see this as a rock. Now, certainly this could mean being a star, right? This idea of this angel almost grabs this crystal from the sky, right? As if they're grabbing a star. This could also be representative of this pile of riches that you seem to be acquiring here for yourself. But I also see this more as a rock, as in a foundation, as in you have the solid foundation that was built for this type of work, for this type of toughness, okay? There's something about the cutthroat nature of this that allows you to, your personality, right? To not sink when your only options are sink or swim. You can make it through this. This energy healing, as I had mentioned, if this is something creative, somebody can see something in you as a star, as an influencer, as a celebrity, right? They could see something in you that heals them. You have the power to heal with your work, okay? Your natural energy healing abilities are an important part of your life purpose. Now, I can see this as somebody that is greatly empathetic, so empathetic that they can embody a character. They can propel their voice in a way that's so beautiful, that's so lyrically profound, right? That makes people feel something deeply, okay? I could also see this very much as the way in which you do this work. If this is more, I was going to say stricter work, but regulated work, right? This idea of the law, this idea of cut and dry, of fairness, of balance, of equality, right? I feel like the way that you do this particular type of work, there's a better bedside manner that you can deliver this with than other people in that field can. There's a humanity still left in you, even though you're doing very analytical work that is very fact-driven and law-driven. You have the energy, the aura to be able to do this work for your clients in a way that's easing to them through troubling times, because legal problems can certainly scare the hell out of us, right? But also I see this idea of bringing healing to others when they're wronged, as you as the watcher, right, in the legal system. You as the one that rights the wrongs, as the one that brings balance back to the force. For every bad actor, you bring a healing energy back into the universe to flow, okay? Because you've gotten justice for people that have been hurt or taken advantage of, or what have you. I see flowers here. Underneath this all that glitters card, what's funny is I almost get like a ballerina. You could even be a dancer here. That when ballerinas take a bow and people throw flowers up at the stage, I see people saying bravo, bravo, bravo with this flowers card. I also often see flowers in the tarot as seeds. This idea that you are planting something in somebody's mind, in somebody's heart, that allows them to grow in a way that very much is beautiful and open and willing to be vulnerable. The little things that you implant into people with this work of justice or with this art that people see, okay? With this stardom, right? This attention that you get. That helps people blossom in some way. They see you as a mentor. They see you as an idol. The thoughts, the notions, the emotions that you make them feel, make them better people, make them grow and open and expand and have aha moments, and you shift their perspective on things, okay? Now, in regards to the law, this idea of the observer, as I had mentioned, I got the Page of Swords here. This could be a literal page, as in you work in the justice system with children specifically, because all that glitters isn't gold. A family, for example, that appears to be in perfect shape, that appears to be perfect. There could be abuse present. There could be poverty. There could be all kinds of situations that are unhealthy for children. And you certainly could be a legal advocate for a page. For you could be their observer. You watch out for them, for a small child, for a minor that cannot look out for themselves. You could represent minors in the court system, right? Or you could be an advocate for children in some capacity. You watch over the little ones, okay, as a lawyer here. Okay, and this idea of flowers, this idea of almost like blossoming from the youth, right? Turning into an adult, blossoming. You help people while they blossom with this work, with this idea of balance and fairness and the legal system, okay? To help people grow. Teaching, this card specifically mentions children as well. This idea that you could certainly teach drama, you could teach acting, you could teach people how to be stars, right? You could also be a teacher in the law or in the justice system. You could work at Harvard as a teacher, right? I could see that as well. This idea of teaching young minds, of teaching people things that plant seeds that allow them to grow into these fields themselves. That's very, very interesting. Obviously, you could literally be a teacher, and you could be recognized for that teaching work, with regardless of whether that's in a legal aspect or a drama aspect. Okay, and that's why kids watch you; they look up to you, right? Because you're a teacher. The last card is the environmentalist card. Now, I see this very much as I don't feel like this is somebody that is like a climate change advocate unless you're working in the law. You could certainly work in environmental law, right? Protecting lands, protecting environments, bringing polluters to justice, bringing people that poison water reserves, and protecting water rights, and protecting lands that are natural, like monuments and national parks and things like that, right? Protecting sacred spaces here. You could be the observer, the watcher of that land. You could be a lawyer for animals, because here an animal looks up for you. Not that you'd be representing a dog in court or anything. What I mean is people that are that do animal cruelty, poaching, things like that. You could use your legal expertise to bring these people to justice. People that take ivory from elephants, or that just abuse animals in general, right? Big companies that conduct experiments on animals. You could work as an attorney for something like PETA or something like that, right? Lots of ways that I could see that coming through. As far as the drama aspect, now, I hate to generalize, right? But look, I live in California, so I feel like if anybody's can drag Californians, it's me. But certainly there's a big vegan community and a vegetarian community here. And if you're in this field, you might be interested in that. That might be something that adds to your life in some way, like becoming all of a sudden a vegan or a vegetarian, not eating meat, or using your platform, using your voice, right, to defend the environment, to speak out about climate change and things like that. Okay, you could be an advocate as well, using this stardom to draw attention to something that protects the earth in some capacity. Very, very nice. I'm going to pull the pendulum for you. And while that works its magic, we're going to pull some additional cards. I see lots of attention here. So if you're not a person that likes attention, you're going to have to start practicing. I'm so sorry. But it is here, okay? I see it very strongly. Now, the number 2 has come up for you on the pendulum. This is how many years it would take for you to start to flourish in this particular field. Now, I know what you're thinking. You can't be a lawyer in 2 years. Well, you can work in the legal field. You can work in the legal field with no legal experience. You just wouldn't be representing in court, right? As a student, you could actually get your law degree without going to law school. You could just mentor underneath a lawyer, right? Obviously, certain states have different rules about that, but you could literally start working right away as an apprentice, learning about the law, and then getting your law degree faster that way. I believe Kim Kardashian, that's how she's doing it or did do it, okay? By just getting the hours in with an already established attorney and then getting trial practice and getting to know the system. You don't have to have the degree in the traditional way in order to do this work. Okay, I can see this too as an advocate for children. Perhaps a 2-year degree would be enough for something like that, right? But this idea that regardless, if you're looking to be a star, for example, perhaps you work for a year or two, and then you catch your big break, your big audition, and that sets you up on the stage. Right? You can build on these things fairly quickly. 2 years is not a long time to have to wait to make something this grand happen with your life. Okay? Very nice. Let's see what the strengths are for pile number 4, please, in regards to this particular work. What unique strengths does pile number... Oh, very interesting. At the bottom of the deck, we have the 3 of Cups. I see this as collaboration, actually. I get this sense that you can work very well on a team. And for all of these career possibilities, you're going to need that, right? Working with a legal team, working with a cast. This is something clearly that will bring you a lot of happiness, right? I love this pumpkin here because it certainly ties the environmentalist aspect into your reading. Hopefully that train... What are the chances that it continues to make noise? If it gets bad, I'll pause. I hate to pause during a reading, but if it does get bad, I will certainly pause it. This idea of togetherness, right? Think cast members getting together. Think working on a legal team with 2 lawyers and your researcher, your investigator, your all the people that work in the law office to make cases come together. Okay, your ability to collaborate and your ability to express joy, to express in regards to theater and this idea of being in the spotlight, that certainly could help as well. Okay, the Ace of Swords is a great card to get here for this particular spread. First, you're honest. You are the truth. You know the truth. You speak the truth. You do the truth, right? You could be an air sign, a water sign. We have more water here and water here, okay? You are truthful. Now, tell me that's not important, being a lawyer, right? But also this analytical ability of you to deliver truth, for victory, to deliver truth in a way that is compelling in front of a jury, a panel of observers, right? I also see here your skill of oration is quite important, whether you are in acting or you are a public figure in some capacity, right? Or you're a teacher or you're a lawyer. All of them require clear, concise speaking and the ability to convey a message here. I see too that you have a way about you that allows other people to see truth in themselves, that they wouldn't otherwise see if you had communicated it in your very own special way. I could see this too as the sword of justice, the sword that one uses to sever, the sword that one uses to cut, to punish, to wield power, right? To issue sentence, okay? I can see that here as well. This truth, even here, right, with the acting, you can deliver truth, the truth of a character, right? This 10 of Cups, this idea of family. Now, you could certainly work in family law. I had mentioned children, right? You could work on arranging things like prenuptial agreements. I also can see this as working with divorces, okay? Severing a marriage in the legal realm, okay? Um, there's something here about family. I get too about ceremony. You know what it is you have a way about you of not burning bridges. That doesn't mean you don't get into tiffs with people now and again, right? What I mean by that is when you have a tiff, it's very rare that somebody will think about you 10 years down the line and say, oh, I wish I could still get this person for that, right? What I mean is you are a good networker. You are good at holding people close to you. You are good at bringing people into you and making them feel like a family. You have a familial nature about you as well. People might look at you and might say to you, don't I know you from somewhere? Or there's something about you that feels familiar and familial. Okay, this idea of being able to bring people into your tent, to make them feel so deeply connected to you, like their family, like they've seen you before. This special way that you emit love, that you emit emotion. I can see that here as well. I had mentioned ceremony and this idea of awards ceremonies. We can see that here also, okay? There's something welcoming about you. You feel like home. You are somebody that people want to spend time with, whether it's on the screen or the way that you take care of people like they're your family if they are your legal client. You go above and beyond. I had mentioned a good bedside manner before, right? You go above and beyond to not just get the work done, but to make people feel very comfortable in the process here. Very, very beautiful. With the Queen of Cups here, your mothering nature, certainly. All the love that you have to give. If this wasn't a card for an actor or somebody in the public eye that emits emotions and that gives of their emotions, almost literally peeling their clothes off, exposing their bare breasts, the tender parts of them, and saying, here, like, feed off of me, feed off of this energy, feed off of this character. Let me nurture you as your legal counsel, right? Let me usher you into this transition, right? There's something about giving love here, and you are an incredibly giving person. I see here too this idea of like the way that you give. There's something so selfless. That doesn't mean that you're selfless, right? But the appearance of it, at least, there's a casualness about the way that you are able to connect with people. I heard a story once, regardless of how you feel about these individuals, right? About Tom Cruise, believe it or not. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it might have been Henry Cavill that had mentioned this in an interview. Yes, because it was like a Mission Impossible interview. Henry Cavill had mentioned this story about Tom Cruise, about how he had this conversation with him, like 5 or 6 years before Henry Cavill had even become famous, somebody to know. And he had run into Tom Cruise and he had a conversation with him. And there was some little detail that was very important to Henry, obviously. But Tom listened and he caught that little detail. And when they met later, now Henry as a co-worker, I believe Henry had mentioned something like, do you ever remember meeting me at such and such time when I was basically a nobody, right? And Tom said, yeah, you had mentioned that thing. And he had mentioned that little detail. And Henry was so blown away that he listened to a stranger that wasn't famous, that didn't work with him, but he remembered that little detail about that conversation. You have that special ability. There's something about the way you give and receive. There are people that hear and there are people that listen, right? There's a different level. There's not a superficiality to the way that you bring people in. And that goes a long way. No wonder you're so good at networking here. There's no phoniness here to that. There's a genuine care and a genuine connection with this thing that you're doing. I get like good vibes only here, which is very, very nice. No wonder this Three of Cups came up, right? You make people happy. Very interesting. People admire that about you too, how giving you are. Let's go over some weaknesses, please, for pile number 4. Now, please don't panic. We all have weaknesses. We all have things that we should work on. And if this path sounds like something that you want to do, okay, this card certainly falls in line with teaching and family, right? If you want to be a teacher, that can fall in line here as well, okay? The idea of giving so much love. Yep. Okay. Things to work on. First, this King of Wands energy here. Getting the courage to express yourself creatively. And I had mentioned King of the Jungle earlier, right? Ferociousness. I had mentioned prey. I had mentioned going after something that viciously and almost like stalking your prey before you pounce. I see that here with the King of Wands. For some of you, the weakness is letting your lion loose towards the thing that you're passionate about, not being afraid to pull the trigger towards this new adventure. Remember, you were poised for this. You were positioned for this. You were almost like a mannequin. You were bent by the universe to follow this path. I see too, for some of you, the idea of public recognition makes you uncomfortable. This is something that you'll work on, okay? I feel you'll work on being seen. Even here, this king turns his head, and a lot of him is cloaked, hidden. There's almost like a desire to want to hide. Seven of Wands here as well. Perhaps this idea of competing, of dog eat dog, of that kind of scenery. Okay. The High Priestess here, working on your intuition. I feel that this connection with intuition, first, in the sense of a legal realm or teaching, has to do very much with this idea of understanding what people need without them saying it. People that cannot self-advocate because they're either children or they're afraid. And so you have to kind of dig that out of them. You have to work on your intuition. You have to work on how can I sense what people are feeling here. I also see this in regards to acting specifically. This idea of what's behind the veil. You have to show more. You have to work on your craft to show more than what's on face value. People have to feel like a character is deeper than just what facial expressions are making, okay? And that's what I see here with the High Priestess. Now, with this Four of Cups, I'm not surprised that this card has come out. First, some of you might get bored or apathetic towards paths that seem difficult or daunting. This is telling you to show up to this picture, to get this cup, to not let this opportunity go to waste, okay? The universe can only hold it for so long before this cloud drifts off and says, okay, you don't want this gift, I'll give it to somebody that wants it, right? I also see here perhaps some emotional difficulty. I heard an actor once that said that actors are people that missed a little bit of love in their life, and not in a mean way, but in a way that there was a little bit missing, and this feeling of if enough people see me and I get famous enough, then people will love me, right? And this very much could deal with that. This emotional unrest, this emotional unhappiness, perhaps a little bit of depression, right? We want to work on our emotional foundation, not just for the artistic path, the celebrity path here, right? But also for the legal path, right? We have to build ourselves into this crystal, into this rock, unmovable, unshakable, right? Not just to have the guts to do this type of work, but when the chips are down, right? When somebody else gets the role, when you have every pleasure at your disposal, that you don't squander it with alcohol with overindulgence in other things, other substances, right? That you don't let those low moments, those low points, now that you have access to all kinds of things that can get you in trouble, drag you down this path of a sadness that you can't dig your way out of. So working on a very strong emotional core here will be very important for you, okay? Let's pull some tiles for you. And I want to see what I can get as keywords. And I also want to see if you can spot your own initials, first, middle, or last name in the tiles as well. Oh boy, those just came flooding out. As I mentioned the keywords, very interesting. As I mentioned the words that pop out to me, please keep in mind that it's not about every single tile that's here. That's not how I'm reading the words that come out. It's about the words that pop out to me as I scan left and right very quickly, whatever jumps out. So if you see me make a word and we're missing a tile, you don't wonder, like, how did she make that word? Okay? Lots of tiles here. I see a lot of vowels too, and to me that typically represents water. You could be a water sign, but I also get this sense of the emotions, right? The softness, the Queen of Cups. Okay, you have a lot of that in you, whether you have water in your chart or not. We have TU blank EPARLL LIAOOIUOAERO. First, middle, last name, initial. First, I'll point you to the blank tile, which I often say is my tile for creatives. You're wearing a mask here, you're wearing a costume, you're playing a different character. There's something certainly that is blank about that, that is masked about that, that is unknown about that, okay? I also say that this is often one that could be for writers. This Ace of Swords could be a pen, okay? So you could write dramas, you can write, this could be your artistic form of expression, and you write under a pen name, anonymously, okay? I can't avoid the obvious one, which is star, S-T-A-R, this idea of stardom. Again, you could be an Aquarius. We almost have enough tiles to make Aquarius here as well. I also see pet, this idea of animals, right? I see pearl as well, as in like one of a kind, unique. There's something quite unique about you, one of a kind, once in a generation. Even the word one can be made here as well, okay? I see parent here as well. This idea that like you're taking on a ward, you're taking on somebody that like you have a duty to protect them, you have a duty to look out for them. I see legal here as well. That certainly falls in line with the cards. That even as a teacher, right, you're almost like a second parent to children when they spend so much time with you during the day, that you build those very, very close connections with them. Let's see what else we have here. I see art here. I see part, as in playing a part. I see play here as well. Perhaps a play in the theater. We can almost make theater here as well. Let's see here. I see right here, R-I-T-E, as in like a rite of passage, as in like a birthright, as in this is your right, this is your spiritual right, your path, okay? Path is here also. I also can almost make out purpose here as well. Just seeing if there's anything else. I see love here I see that you'll love this thing that it is that you're doing. I also see the word ripe, as in you're ripe for the picking. Now is the opportunity. The time is now for you to do this, for you to take this leap of faith. The word leap is here as well. The word ear coming out here. People hear you. People hear your voice. People see your face. I think that's everything that's really sticking out to me. Obviously, if you see any of the any words that I missed, please type pile number 4 and those key words, or any jobs that I missed, for example, right? Possible jobs, because I know it helps other people as they go through the reading to see what other people thought, okay? I'm going to end with some charms for you, all right? Okay. You've pulled several flowers. Again, I see this as blossoming and helping other people blossom too, planting seeds that are inspirational in people's minds, in people's hearts, that help them grow, that help them almost like spring back to life in some way. Very interesting. Another flower here, a rose. This one is like immortalized, almost like a legacy. Like this flower will be thrown at you forever. I see this as like the greats, like Judy Garland, and people that we look back on later, and we're like, a legend. Okay, you are a complete legend. So I see that this flower, this idea of them tossing a crowd saying, bravo, bravo, that's a legacy, even long past when you're gone. There's something about your legacy that stands strong. You'll make a name for yourself that is etched in eternity, okay? I also see fate here in the tiles. I don't know if I had mentioned that as well, as in your fated destiny here. A little palm tree, certainly this idea of travel, right? Of being able to grow. This could speak of personal growth. And having the freedom, opportunities to go out places and to have experiences and to see things that you wouldn't have if you would have led a more common life, okay? This leaf very much signifies growth, change, transformation, changing into different characters. And I also see this very much as changing people's lives, changing people's destinies, having that power in your hands to do that judge, jury, right? Wow. A little star symbol here. Glittery, 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 just like our all that glitters thing here. Certainly it could be an Aquarius. I see Earth here as well. This skate is interesting. Forward movement, right? You could be a Cancer, but I see this as skating through. There's something about your dues and paying your dues where something comes early. You even see early here in the card, in the tiles. Like you're able to skate past the system. Like it normally takes people so long to become a lawyer, or so long to get established in an industry. You skate by. It's funny because I saw this shoe, and for some reason it made me think of boot. These boots are made for walking. I'm not sure that song is what has come through here. I think it certainly could you could be into song, right? This could be your expression. That could be how you get your stardom. But I also get something about sass, about attitude. That's the type of attitude that you need in order for this journey to work. As I say that, right, the I love music charm comes up. This is a guitar pick. You could express yourself in this way through music. Another star, wow. Maybe you'll marry Chris Evans, because this does look like a Captain America shield, right? If you do, invite me to your wedding, please. I see this very much as a symbol of like Om, of connection, of feeling at peace with your decisions. This also could certainly have to do with balance, right? But this blossoming lotus is very much a sign of Zen, of finding your Zen space, of finding your calling. A butterfly, a Scorpio perhaps, this idea of transformation, of costume, of change, of changing people's lives. I hate to keep repeating myself, but if it falls in line, right? The letter N here coming out. We see angel here in these clouds. This certainly falls in line with this idea of justice, being a legal angel. Perhaps you work in legal aid or you do pro bono work, right? That allows people to access attorneys that wouldn't be able to afford it otherwise. Very, very admirable thing to do there, okay? Now, I believe this is a heart shape, and there's flowers. You plant flowers in people's hearts. Again, I hate to keep repeating myself, but and you do it in a way that is like a trophy, that is silver, that doesn't melt, that like lasts for all of time. You hold the key to people's hearts, and I feel the key to people's fates as well. You also have a heart within you to unlock, to really let blossom, so that people can see that inner part of you, connect with your Queen of Cups, bare your chest, unlock your own heart. I'm getting, right? But not, don't actually bare your chest, okay? Don't go down the street baring your chest. Somebody hire me, make me a star, okay? I'm actually, it's a lollipop. I get whimsical fancy with this. I get like carnival. I get this idea of the land of make-believe. I get La La Land. I get Hollywood. I also get children from this, in the legal sense. Very, very nice. Pile number 4. That was your reading. I hope that you found some pearls, that word here as well, some pearls of wisdom in the spread. I'm very curious to see what you think about this particular path, this particular journey, if this resonates with you in some way, and if you have found anything that I missed here in the tiles or in the cards that you feel can help others. I would really appreciate your help in that regard. Please like the video and consider subscribing if you did enjoy it, and I wish you luck with this. Hopefully I see you again soon, okay? Bye-bye.